They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama. Call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Alrighty, good people. Good morning. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. How are you guys doing this beautiful morning? Yes, sir. Let's get it. See Blake and Aaron are ready.
Both doing outdoor learning at Dart Park.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hola.
Hey,
Good morning.
I'm gonna soon write me a country song.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just because.
Tell your mom.
Hey, Beyonce did it.
You do know that that's exactly why I was saying that.
Mhm.
You do know that we've had a country song written for CMR, right?
No.
No, you didn't hear the
No,
country. Oh my God,
I've heard,
Have you heard
I've
it?
heard
Can I
your
share it
open.
with you?
Is it the open one?
Hold on.
The open.
Tell...
No, that's not it.
No, that's not. Yeah, that doesn't sound. Let's hear it.
Mhm.
everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air.
If this is where K-Man's Got Talent.
No.
No,
Who's singing this?
Berman Scott.
Hmm.
Mhm.
There's Sandra. This guy put together a whole song. That's impressive.
Sandra.
That's two songs.
You're not even
Two
Sandra.
songs.
You're Sandy.
Yeah, well, you know,
There's also Sandra.
country music sounds better. It sounds
Except when your mom's mad at you, then they call you by your full name.
full name.
Mhm.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Sandra. Oh, I got Aaron Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got Blake Allen.
Hey,
Yeah.
this has a little, two
I
step.
like it.
Yeah, a
like
toe
it.
tapping.
Yeehaw. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome along to
Yeah.
Sandra Hill's
That's
show
Sandra.
called Cayman Marl Road.
Hello, country folks, country bumpkins. We're here for you.
Grab your
Yeah.
partner,
Yeah, that's
dose
right.
to go.
Do the two step.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about it. So good
Excellent.
morning. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
We're good.
Fantastic.
We're good. It's Wednesday already, right? Isn't it
I
Wednesday?
know. Listen, the year, the week, everything just flying by.
I just want to say that we are not, we're not fully committed to the full work week.
You're thinking that 4-day work week is a good idea?
That back to back 2 weeks in a row is 4 days.
If only there was someone in the studio who could solve that problem for us at TMS Broadcasting.
Oh my goodness. In certain industries, you just don't have regular hours, so you're not going to have a 9 to 5, and it's definitely not going to be 4 days either.
Right.
Do what you gotta do.
Yep.
Let's get to some news. Here we go. Do-si-do.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Happy Wednesday, Sandy. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Blake and Aaron, and everyone listening to KISS 106.1 FM.
Dramatic intro right there. You made us wait. Wow.
Yes, indeed. All right, what's going on in the world today in the Cayman Islands? Well, there's a couple interesting cases. One is local bar Vine and Tap has been issued an eviction notice. Yeah, we're going to try to...
What?
Why?
Yeah, well... according to the landlord, Cayman Technology Center, after nuisance complaints, they have, issued them a notice, but they're refusing to leave.
Is that because of the pole dancing?
No, I think it's an overall thing. Listen, I don't go there, so I'm no expert, but it looks like there've been a long list of complaints in relation to just noise nuisance. Guests, patrons, whatever. So they've tried to evict them, but the owner has said she's not leaving until you give her $1.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So we're gonna dig into that because today's Hump Day Wednesday. We're gonna look at a few court cases, and of course, that one's pretty interesting. This other one, oh wow, I don't even know where to begin with this. But anyway, a man requests his PR on the day that his wife died was when he was sitting down writing the letter.
What?
The letter is dated the 19th of February, and that was the day that she died. More interestingly than that is they married 9 days before.
Huh.
So initially, he was turned down, and then the director of WORC approved his application, or is requested it to be reviewed, and then it was approved.
What did she pass away from?
She was very, very sick for a number of years, so it was imminent. And
how long were they together for?
He wouldn't have known that.
9 days.
No, well, they were married.
They were married for 9 years.
Were they together?
The law only concerns itself with the length of the marriage, to be clear. Doesn't matter how long you were together for. If you're not married, you ain't married.
No, I get that. But were they married? Were they together before, or was it?
Supposedly, but we're going to delve into some of those details.
Yeah.
In terms of...
Well, what does the law say?
The law says marriage. 7 years.
Well, didn't the 7 years change?
No, it's still 7 years. I mean, you get RERC.
Yeah, which is what I got when I got married.
Yeah. And then, you get residency after that. But it's a whole lot of red flags with this.
Oh, you think?
But, yes, there's a lot of red flags.
Does that work? Like, how does that work? So you get it after 7 years of marriage and you've applied. But if you've already been married to someone who then gets status, do you have to wait 7 years again? Or if you've already been married for 7 years, does that apply for you?
No, the law changed. You don't have to wait 7 years
you don't have to
anymore.
wait. Oh,
well, you get RERC.
Yeah, I mean, I have.
Yeah, but you can apply.
I have all that.
You can apply for status before 7 years. That's what I was told.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna delve into some of those stories.
'Cause I waited 7 years.
Yeah.
And then I was told by an agency that does immigration that they're like, oh yeah, you didn't have to wait for 7 years anymore. That changed. That changed a few years ago.
That could have been information I needed to know yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the law still says 7 years, so I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
But anyway,
it's also confusing. There's so many.
I know.
This is why there's law firms
get a little bit.
Yeah.
So Caymanians continue to ask the question about what is going on with the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica. because there's yet another case of a Caymanian young lady getting ready for university. She needed a student visa to go away to university, and she was denied her student visa application recently. And the reason why they told her it was denied was because, according to them, she had been overusing the waiver system. It's very confusing because I don't think there's a limit, and no one has certainly ever said that there was a limit on, how the waiver system is supposed to work. So it's very, very confusing. And all I can get from Cayman sort of higher up representatives is that there's a lot of really weird stuff going on right now at the U.S. Embassy, and Caymanians should be very, very aware. Whereas before, when we'd go there to apply for visas, as long as you had a clean police record, pretty much you were going to get it. You were like a shoo-in. That's no longer happening. They're denying it for all sorts of strange reasons.
If you have a Cayman passport, overseas territory passport, you have to go to Jamaica to apply for a visa to get
for a student visa.
Student visa. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah. I mean, you can still get a visa in your Cayman passport, right?
Yeah, but you don't have to go to Jamaica for that.
Yes, you do. Where else are you going to get a US visa?
I don't know.
You need to go to U.S. Embassy, and that's the closest U.S. Embassy.
I didn't know if you had to do that with a Cayman passport too. Oh, that's irritating.
Yeah. So there is one in the Bahamas, but they also don't like us going there because they're like, "Why are you here?" Jamaica's skipping it. I know, it's weird. Like all these.
The BA flight is easy.
I know, because you're more likely to get through with the people there than Jamaica. So
that line is insane.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. And since we were talking about country music earlier, before we went live, you guys should know that Beyonce, I know you guys are hating on her. But she has
hating on her. Excuse me.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, a lot of people like she's not country.
Okay.
Did you mean white people?
Not you, as in Blake and Eric.
What do you mean?
You white people.
We love Beyonce.
She has made history as being the first Black woman to come in at number one on the top country album chart.
Yeah, I know. I did that story yesterday because we love Beyonce.
Yeah, we play her music.
With her Cowboy Carter.
Yeah, not only
she's
that.
She's not serious. She's not a serious cowgirl. I'm like, okay, country music is supposed to be fun.
She's from Texas.
I don't know what
she is.
Exactly. She's a
I'm
Texan.
sorry, Keith Urban from Australia can be country. Someone from Texas is more is country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Stop hating on her.
She's also the Billboard Top 200 chart, and she also made history with one of the debut singles on the album, Texas Hold'em, which captured the top spot on the Billboard's Hot Country Song chart as well. They're just hating on poor Beyonce. Can't win, girl.
Some people will always be haters. But you know what else on that album is her daughter, one of the younger daughter, is it Rumi, is now the youngest person to be on the Billboard Hot 100 because she has a little cameo in there. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How many seconds of music can you?
Just a quick question. Did anybody watch the Cayman reality show last night?
Mm-mm.
Oh, was it on Hulu? No, I didn't see it.
It'll be on today.
No, it was on Freeform last night, and then does Hulu replay it tonight?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I think it will be on Hulu today. So
did you watch it?
No.
Well, stop hating on it, Sandra.
No. I'm just asking because I want to know what happened. I want to know if it was any good. But honestly, the truth is I have better things to do. I'm just saying I don't really watch a whole lot of TV because I normally have something better to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many seconds of music can you have?
None.
Yeah. Love Beyonce.
They're gonna get her kicked off.
There you go.
You're stepping.
You're gonna get her banned.
Now we play.
My gosh! There's a lot of people who were. There are a lot of people who've been doing the little short videos and stuff to it, and I love it. I mean, it's got a good, catchy chorus.
We play that song on Kiss and on X1071 and on K Country. That song is on
fits every category.
3 different formats.
Genres. Yeah,
that's how good it is.
I love
That's how much we love Beyonce. Sandy.
Hey, really quick before you go,
we're a lot of Beyonce, the Beehive to go after us.
Since we're talking about the power of women,
yes,
the women's NCAA tournament game, as we know, we talked about it yesterday. Had 18, almost 19 million people watching it on Sunday.
Wow!
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
On Monday night, the men's NCAA championship only got 14 million. Wah, wah.
Yep.
So the ladies, for the first time ever, beat the men
Oh my
in
gosh.
viewership.
It was great.
In the NCAA tournament. It was spectacular.
Yeah.
I watched the ladies game on Sunday. I didn't really watch Monday's game. So I'm one of those people.
Listen, when it comes to like even soccer, like I've only been to women's World Cup games, and I mean I like the men's too, but
so stop hating on women's basketball, Sandy.
No, again, I don't watch it, but no, I mean obviously they're bringing it home. Everybody's enjoying it. So.
Good morning, honey child. All right, let's see you later.
Good morning, honey child. Have a good one. Oops. Didn't mean to pull them out so abruptly. Oh my gosh. All right. Good morning, honey chillin'. Chillin'. How y'all doing today? Good morning to the usual suspects. We got Siobhan, Barry, Leroy, Wee Wee, Damaris, Shaka Zulu. Miss Ann says, good morning, honey child. Happy hump day. Yes. Miss Yurleen, good morning, beautiful. Irviton in the house. Yes, sir. This is where it's at. Marshall, K-Mankind. That's Miss Romelia. We got to get an update with her painting situation because I understand that that's still ongoing. Reversal again. Y'all need to do better. Morning to Miss Borna. Yes, Cameron is here. Cameron Wagwan. Cameron says, morning, front and center. Notepad and number 2 pencil ready. No calculator though. The math don't be math on them most times anyways. I know. Listen, we would honestly need a special kind of calculator for some of the mess that be going on in Cayman. Ooh, honey child, it's just not right. Wine and Tap, we're going to get into it. It's Vine and Tap or Wine and Tap? Which one is it? Is it Vine and Tap? No. Vine and Tap, not wine, Siobhan. Although wine would work too. But it's actually Vine and Tap. Interesting. Leroy says, them Walmart calculators, I tell you, boy, they don't be mathing. Morning to Suzette. She says, good morning, K-Man fam. Hello. Dee Dee in the house. Cameron says, Texas Instruments come with extra box. Lord have mercy. Stephen joining us from the UK. We got family all over the place. Honey child, K-Man spreading out these days. I hope you know. We're no longer the island that time forget. But most of us trying to become that again. Y'all need to be forgetting about K-Man. Just keep it moving. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. All right. Olivia is here. Leroy, he's laughing about the, if you missed it yesterday, you guys have got to go back. We couldn't play it on radio. I'm sorry, radio folks. Sometimes y'all miss the good stuff because, certain words we can't say on the radio and certain content we can't play on radio. Offer, I'd be sitting there with the little magnifying glass looking at me. So what I decided to do yesterday, I bothered poor Kevin. I'm so sorry, Kevin. I'd asked him to cut out all of the words, but there were so many words. And to be honest, that was the best part. The BBC and stuff, that was the best part of the audio clip that we played with the Jamaican scammers yesterday. It was hilarious. But we played it at the end of the show. So you can always go back and watch it on yesterday's show. So you can go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. People got to see it as well. And then you can, we added it as a separate standalone piece on both Instagram and Facebook because it is worth listening to. It is so hilarious. What do they say? You speak in Jamaican? I'm like, what? Jamaican for the record. There's no such language as Jamaican. You're not speaking Jamaican, but it was hilarious. Anyway, good morning to Mr. Robert. Miss Pat is here. Alejandro checking in early today. Alejandro, are you sitting in the front or the back of the classroom? Where's Johan? Who's Jay? She and Jay soon dig up too. Who the heck is Jay? Okay, I think I missed a comment. We're going to talk about marriages of convenience this morning. That's coming right up, honey Jam. P. Diddy soon start singing singing some names. Oh, try and hush with him. It's so interesting how these people never do the right thing until they get caught. And then all of a sudden they become the world's biggest singing canary. Oh yeah, this person was doing that just to save their own backside. Throw them in jail, honey child. Throw them in jail. Miss Olive, good morning. Good morning to Patricia Blake. Dan says a glorious morning came on. Yes, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Try and leave Beyonce alone. I'm feeling the song. Now, I don't know about y'all, because we're going to talk about Beyonce a little bit. We're going to have our celebrity corner discussion a little bit later on, because, I love my little celebrities still. Love to talk about their lives. So we're going to talk all about Beyonce. Y'all need to just leave the woman alone. Charmaine, good morning to you, darling. How are you? Is that you in that picture? Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Looks like a wedding, a bridesmaid or something. Weddings, people going crazy for weddings. Yep. Rusty says Beyonce is gonna go down, down, down. Oh Lordy. Stephanie, good morning, honey child. Cameron says Beyonce even has a church in Texas. She's a Texan. She's allowed to sing. Listen, if you want to sing country music, listen, if Caymanians can sing country music and y'all can be country bumpkins, why can't anybody else? Big shout out to Andy Martin this morning, Cayman Cowboy. We're going to be re-airing his segment just on social media this week. So if you missed it on, what day was that? Friday, you'll get to be able to watch it again. And Caymanians love them some country, and y'all the farthest thing from country in a lot of respects. But anywho, y'all want to walk around with country music and boots and belts, and then you want to tell other people that they ain't country enough. Leave them country people alone, honey child. They can be as country as they want to be. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get a little country vibe. I'd be like, hey, why not? I was trying to look for one of his songs, honey child. We got a couple of them that really get your foot to tapping. Listen to me. I'm telling y'all now. Berman Scott put together that little country song for me, and I really love it. Let me play a little snippet for you, just in case. Get you in the mood for some country. Yeah. Yep. Call me late at night. Do your two step. Get your boots on, honey tap. Do a little tapping. Yes. Listen to that. All right. We'll play some more of that a little bit later on. Thank you, Magnum Opus. Welcome. He says that country music origins are from Black American culture. Y'all would be, y'all can't hear that in the radio? What? Uh-oh. Hold on here now. Hold on here, honey child. Honey chillin'. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. Why wouldn't she be hearing that? Okay. Let me check a little setting over here. So settings, audio. I wonder if to put on this one for you to hear it. Hold on now. Tell me if you can hear it now. Because y'all like, ooh, Sandy, we can't hear that. Hold on. Oh, no bueno. That's interesting. Okay. Let me look at, that means I need to go deep into the settings. I need to go like, whoa. No, you should be hearing the song, not me, but you should be hearing my country music song on the radio. Y'all saying, I'm listening on the radio and I heard it fine. You heard the country music song? You did? Which time? The first time? Oh, you heard the song. Denny? I don't know what you're telling me you can't hear it for. You must have got some weird frequency going on. It's even very low on Facebook. Yeah, I think that, hold on, there's an area to increase the volume here. All right, let me play it again. Because we're going to be tapping some country yet today. Sandra. That's volume.
When they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra.
Okay, y'all can hear that on radio. Okay, somebody said, will you please stop talking over the song? I'm enjoying that. Thank you very much. Percy Worms, Kim and Brock's Willie Nelson and country music legend passed away this morning. Oh, no. No way. Aw. Look at that. We lost another one. My tweet him. Oh. So sad. Ay. Well, we all have to go that path, but oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, he was on my list for Keyman voices. Oh, sad. Keyman's Willie Nelson and country legend. Oh my goodness. We need to continue to celebrate Berman and Andy, two fellow Keyman Black artists. Yes, Berman's on my list to interview as well. I want to interview everybody, all Keymanians that are 60 and over. Bring it on, honey child. But I'm so sorry to hear that. Condolences to Mr. Percy's family. That's very sad. All right, honey child. Okay. Let me see who else is in class. I'm looking for Johan. Anybody seen Johan? He'd be coming in all late, waltzing in like he's somebody. Allison, good morning. By the way, Magnum, when we talk about Beyonce, we'll come back to this because African-American music and Afrobeats has, seeped into all sorts of music, blues, jazz, everything. And it's very, very interesting that so many people are not willing to acknowledge the musical influences and how far-reaching it has been. Somebody says that Johan is in detention. Causing trouble, no doubt. Good morning to Sherry Ann. Good morning to Allison. Buenos dias, Senora Alba. ¿Cómo estás? Jackie Bennett is here. Good morning to Miss Jackie. Miss Lucille says hello to everybody at home. Evelyn, thank you. Miss Sue McLaughlin. We love you, Miss Sue. How you doing, honey jail? Corazita says, good morning. I'm listening on the road. Good. Miss Debbie is here. Says, you got moves, honey jail. You see, I'm a country bumpkin at heart. All right. Working old Kevin to pieces, says Cameron. By the way, Kevin's home. I don't know if he wanted y'all to know that, but call him for lunch date. Kevin, you and I need to go for a little lunch date. Siobhan says, I watched it again, your clip, and I had another good laugh. Man, it was hilarious. I tell you, sometimes you just need something that can make you laugh like nothing else. I mean, you just need a deep rolling on the floor, guttural laugh to just release some of the stress. And yesterday, that clip did it for me. Oh my goodness. It was, whew. Dan says there's nothing convenient about marriage, darling. Maybe not for you. I'm just saying, for other people, it's all about convenience. Good morning, Miss Charmine, joining us from Jamrock. How are you? Rough Seas says, you can't tell me that patois is not a language unto its own. Well, it's a dialect, but your point is taken that I guess if you don't speak it, you might not understand it. But you know what I appreciate about patois? You might not, when you hear it, understand everything, but Lord knows they write very phonetically. So you just got to try and figure it out like you just read it. What a mess. Leroy says, come to the back and get some Foster donuts. Oh, and some of Sandy's brownies. Not for breakfast, Leroy. Oh my gosh, y'all are horrible with the diet. It's Maxine joining us from Jamaica. We got a lot of Jamaican fans. Big shout out to our Jamaican family and friends. Big fans of the program. I saw a guy yesterday. He's like, oh my gosh, you're the lady that my wife listens to every morning. She loves you, Sandy. Big shout out to that gentleman and his lovely wife. But listen, if I had to put it in order of who my biggest fans are by nationality, speaking of which, I can't wait until maybe next week after Taste of Cayman, Tower Marketing is going to release their media consumption report, because I'm very, very, very curious to see if what I'm thinking bears true. But last time they said we were split amongst all nationalities. Like we were like the international crew. Everybody loved us from all over the place. But I know for a fact that if I had to peg it by nationality, Filipinos are my number one fan. Yep. They love them some CMR. They be sitting there silently listening to all the sus child, taking it in. They're number one fans, then Jamaicans, and then Caymanians. and then everybody else. But according to Tower Marketing, they're like, of all the different talk shows and everything, we apparently had the most international following. And we had the biggest, they didn't break it down like that. They just did Caymanians versus everybody else, I think. Or did they do Jamaicans? I think they did. Oh gosh, I'd have to go back and look at it now. But yeah, they said that we had like an even split where it's like, we're just international, honey child. We gone worldwide. Love it. Shaka Zulu says Cayman music has been one of Cayman's staples culturally, more so than any other genre. I believe it. All right, let's get this show on the road. Hello, Mr. Frederick. How are you? Let's get this show on the road. Miss Ethel says, hearing you and the beautiful song. Stephanie says, Sandra, you have a beautiful smile. Aw, thank you. Is it $1 million smile? No, only $200 smile. Oh, well, I'll take it. Strong Wilt says, I'm feeling good. Actually, yes, I mean, relatively good. I just literally felt a dip in my energy. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you know, there are times that you can feel your energy shifting. And I just turned on the AC because I'm feeling warm with this jacket. I tried to look pretty for y'all this morning with my jacket and my dress and everything, looking pretty. I even put on my pearls, you know, because sometimes I got to be clutching my pearls like the little old people, like, oh my God, I'm so shocked by this. Let me clutch my pearls. So I dressed up for y'all this morning a little bit. Yes, honey chat, look at it. But I do feel a little bit warm. And I felt like my literal energy just went down about 2 notches, but we gonna keep it going. Miss Stacy might have to feed me this morning. Could be that I need a little boost. Metabolically, I need some food to give me a little boost instead of just drinking water. I gave up tea because half the mornings I drink like half the tea and it's going to waste. I'm like, Lord have mercy. We can't be wasting tea around here. The English might get upset. So, anywho, marriages of convenience. Whoo, honey child. I'm so sick. Oh my God, Johan is in the house. Finally. We heard you were in detention, Johan. Listen, marriages of convenience. I was really thinking hard about this last night. Because as Dan that said, he said there's nothing convenient about a marriage. Well, for some people, every marriage is a convenience. And I get the practicalities of why some people say marriages have always been transactional. And I guess to some extent, they will always be transactional. And in fact, when you think about arranged marriages, which by the way, I'm a huge proponent of arranged marriages up to a certain extent. The concept of an arranged marriage, which is that other people in your families and your communities get to have their input into whether or not this person is right for you, I think can have some validity. Because in our culture, it's all about this Western idea of, oh, love at first sight, and we love each other and this and that. And, you know, it's a little bit of a fake situation to think that that's all it's going to take to make it work. It's not all about love. I hate to tell you. In the words of Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it, honey chair? Yeah. I understand the concept of what does love have to do with it? Because quite frankly, there is a practical element, I think, to anyone who wants to get married. We were talking about this yesterday with engagements, like all these flowery moments, right? They're not the moments that last, right? You've got to be in it for the day-to-day mundane stuff. Like poor Johan, you know, Pilar has to put up with his stupid jokes all the time. Me too. Marlon, oh God. Marlon's jokes some days, I'm just like, really? He has a different sense of humor. And so that's part of it. Laughing when maybe you don't really want to laugh. You're like, eye roll, then you laugh. You got to support your husband. Even when they're doing stupid stuff. Sometimes. Depends on how stupid. So, I mean, it's not all about love. And so when I was thinking last night about what truly makes a marriage of convenience, here's what I think. And I want y'all to tell me what you think. If it is mostly transactional, so even an arranged marriage, I think that ultimately the parties, especially the woman, because normally this is like, oh, just give us a dowry and we're going to force her to marry anybody. No. You can't force people into marriage. So that's where I diverge. Like I like certain aspects of an arranged marriage, but then I think ultimately the bride and groom, after, having an opportunity to get to know each other, if they're just not vibing, then leave them alone. Don't force them just because, from the time you were 2 years old, we promised you to our friend's son, who was also 2.5, and this was going to be your fate from day one. No. At the same time, young people, you're out there talking about you want to fall in love and you want to, get married and whatever. Keep in mind that there are other people that can see certain elements of a relationship, especially when it comes to compatibility, that you may not see. Compatibility is very, very important for a lasting relationship of all kinds, even friendships. Now, there is a theory about love that says opposites attract. My question has always been, they do, but for how long? Magnets, opposites attract. Well, in the magnetic world, they're going to repel each other. So you attract initially to someone who's your opposite because you're curious. You're like, oh my God, this person's so different than me. There's excitement about somebody who's different. Oh, I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican. I'm an atheist, he believes in God. Ooh, that might be a crazy combination. I'm a smoker, he's a non-smoker. Oh yeah, he's wild. He's got tattoos. I'm a nice little church girl. He's coming out all guns blazing. He's so bad. He's a bad. When you got to put your head down at night next to that person, you better have something to talk about. You better have something in common. That's why young people, I'm telling y'all, some of y'all into the whole physical thing. Oh yeah, honey, child, he makes my heart go thumpity thump. And the boys be like, oh, she got one big monkey from West Bay. You know what I'm saying? Well, as she gets older, that bonky is going to droop a little bit. She's not going to look the same. Even these young girls in their 20s, they be putting on the belly rolls and the belly fat. And then you're like, she's not so cute anymore. You got to have more than that to keep you together. That's never enough, right? Looks are never enough. Shoot, even somebody's cooking, because y'all be like, I'm just here for the food. That's not enough. Because the day she stopped cooking, what are you going to do? Run off and leave her? You've got to be able to have, in my opinion, more than just the superficial stuff in common with someone. Now, let me tell you what the big deal breakers are. One of the biggest things y'all would fight about. And the other day I ran into someone and I didn't even know that she was divorced. And she said to me, oh, I hadn't seen her in a while. I said, how's hubby? She's like, oh, we divorced last year. And I said, what? I was there for the wedding. I missed the divorce. I wanted to be there for the divorce too. Honey child. So, they got a divorce. I said, well, what happened? We always like, oh, he must have been cheating. You Caribbean men, honey child. Especially y'all Jamaicans. We'd be like, we know y'all were cheating. She's like, no. Nothing like that. It was just finances. It was just money. I got sick and tired of taking care of him. I was like, Lord Jesus. Really? That was it? But that's a big deal. Finances are a big deal. Listen, I know y'all been reading these fairy tale romance novels. Julia Roberts, what was the name of her movie again? Woman in Red, or whatever the heck her movie was called, with Richard Gere. Is that what his name is? What was that movie called again? Julia Roberts and Richard. Was it Richard? Yeah, Pretty Woman. So, we're all about this fairy tale. Poor girl meets rich guy, falls head over heels, and then they're going to live happily ever after. The chances of that happening are slim to none. It just doesn't work. There are so many things, even their differences with money. Because when you grow up poor and you're a poor person, believe it or not, you have a very different mentality about money and towards money than people who have it, especially if it's generational wealth. Or they're self-made. They have a very different way of dealing with money. Most people who grew up poor and come into money, all they want to do is spend it. The people who have it, who have generational wealth, they're not looking at spending it like that. They're not quite as frivolous with their money. They want to invest it. They want to make smarter decisions. You trying to go to Bloomingdale's and shop all day and hanging out at the mall, they're like, you got to have the fanciest car. The average millionaire's car is like 15 years old. So there's a lot of friction that finances and money creates, even in the best of relationships. So I've seen people who are like uber cheap get with somebody who's like, nope, I'm spending like water, like it's flowing. They're not gonna last, Somebody has to be willing to give a lot, constant give and take. Those relationships don't tend to last. So when you have, theoretically, with arranged marriage, and this is in the best case scenario, because some of them are just arranging marriages just because, like I said, you promised from the time you were 2 years old to your uncle's son, kind of foolishness. But when you really look at the foundation of an arranged marriage, and listen, my very first love, and I do believe you can love more than once. And trust me when I tell you, he was my love. Oh my God, my little boyfriend, Prakash. He comes from a culture from Sri Lanka where they believe in arranged marriages. And I found it so interesting when he would talk about this concept with me that his parents didn't go for that. They broke the mold and went out and, married who they loved. And it lasted for probably 40 something, maybe closer to 50 years until the father passed away. They were also from opposite religions. That's another big one. Finances, religion. Putting somebody who's and I'm not talking about, you're a Baptist and the other person's like, I don't know, Methodist. I mean, pretty much the same thing. You'll go to their church and whatever, non-denominational. But you take someone who's Jewish and put them with someone who's of the Christian faith. That's a lot. And they're like, listen, you got to convert. You take a Muslim and a Christian. Woo, honey child. The divergence there is huge. And I see it all the time where Christian people try to convert, because normally the Muslim not converting. I'll tell you, but they're not doing it. So the Christians are expected to convert to the Muslim faith, and women are then expected to become very traditional and wear all these, head coverings and the hijab and and most of them are like, nope. Think about reality TV for a second. 90 Day Fiance. This one called oh God, they're the couple that's on there now. Mahmoud and what's the wife name? Oh Lord, what a wife name is again? Mahmoud and something. Listen, they're always fighting. The two of them are like oil and water. And you know why they're like oil and water? There's too many differences. And the biggest difference for them is cultural, because that's a big deal. And that includes his religious beliefs. He is Muslim, and he is very, very like a fundamentalist. So when she wants to wear an outfit that is like showing her knees, he's like, no. You have to wear long pants down to your ankle. You have to cover your hair. You have to do this. You have to do that. And she's not about that life. I don't even know how these people, they're so unrealistic about love. I'm like, how are you guys going to make this work? It doesn't take a scientist to see that this will never work. Remember Jenny and Sumit? Those of you who are 90 Day fans. So they were another one. He's an Indian guy. Sumit, I don't even know what his religion was. I don't know what he was. But anyway, the biggest thing with them is an age difference. So this is why you have to be careful with the age of the person you marry as well. Not just for legal reasons, but even when you become an adult. I have a 10-year rule. I'm like, listen, don't marry anybody 10 years older than you and 10 years younger. And I've learned that from personal experiences. The age gap will, in all likelihood, mean that you do not have enough in common. When you were coming into your own and internet was going to be a thing, this person don't even know what internet was. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to live with that on a daily basis. You think it's easy explaining to someone how to send an email and you got to do it every single day because they're already geriatric and they don't remember half of what you just told them? These things will make a difference. Jenny and Sumit, they claim that they met online and they're so in love and whatever. And she's like, well, I'm headed to retirement. I'm retiring. Sumit, 30 years, her junior, is just starting out his life. And he's like, oh, I'm ready to go rock climbing, jumping out of an airplane. He's adventurous. He wants to do all this stuff. Jenny's like, my 60-something-year-old bone. She's old enough to be his mother. I think she's on age with his mother. She's like, no. I just want to lie down all day in front of the TV and relax because I'm in retirement mode. The lifestyle differences that an age difference can bring about tend to mean that this just not going to work. There are a few exceptions. There's always the unicorn, right? The exception to the rule. But you cannot live your life, and our MP should pay attention to this when it comes to how you run a country. You can't live your life based on the 1% or the exceptions to the rule. You got to look at the big picture. Right now, the world of media and celebrityism are all over the place with what's his name? Alcohol Simmons. This is what her father name is again, the African-American business guy. Anyway, she was dating, and look, just a couple hours ago, they say that she's no longer with him. This is Russell Simmons' 21-year-old daughter was dating 65-year-old entrepreneur, and they got caught photos on the beach on April the 2nd. What does a 21-year-old have in common with a 65-year-old? I mean, seriously. Now it says that they split already. Duh. That was just a quick little fling. She just wanted to try geriatric privates. A little rumple in the bed with a geriatric man, and that was it. Maybe she wanted to go to one of his fancy restaurants and wanted to be put at the top of the list. I don't know. He's probably older than her father because I don't think Russell Simmons, is that old. Now, his position is, he said he's not going to kick and scream about her decisions. You know why? Because he's a smart man. He knows the more that he opposes that, the more she's going to want to stay in that relationship, although that relationship isn't good for her. So sometimes as parents and as others in a community, you let things run its course. And that already ran its course. That was just a week ago, and that situation's already done. So what does a marriage of convenience look like? Well, I tell you what, if it's mostly transitional, it's a marriage of convenience. Now, there are, like I said, there are cultures and there are situations where marriages are convenience and the norm, and that's accepted. In this country, because of how our immigration laws work, a marriage of convenience is actually illegal. Now, this is interesting because what if I found myself a nice little Muslim guy and he said, okay, I'm going to pay somebody a dowry for you. And, this is just transactional, but that's his culture and I'm accepting of his culture. Does that mean that if we got married in the Cayman Islands, that immigration would be like, nope, you guys aren't in love. This is just a transaction, which makes this a marriage of convenience. So recently, some details about what is being alleged to be a marriage of convenience came to mind. And this is interesting. Oh my God, hold on. We got some breaking news here. Just a second. Hold on, folks. So someone said that I just heard that there's an armed standoff on the bypass heading south towards Georgetown earlier this morning. South towards Georgetown, where exactly would that be? All right, let me try and get some information on that. So sounds like it was earlier this morning, so I'm assuming it's not happening now. Huh. All right. If you have any information, do let me know. All right. Somebody said that this is called a hit and run. Yeah, Sonny Jam. Anyway, so I was thinking about this quite a bit because we have a situation here, and I'm going to give you guys the factual nexus. Someone says a 21-year-old with a 60-plus-year-old. Oh no. Somebody else said, don't knock a 65-year-old. I'm not knocking older people. Somebody says in terms of the movie Pretty Girl, what's it called, Pretty Girl? She wasn't a poor girl. She was a prostitute, and Richard Gere fell in love with her, and then him. But she also didn't have his kind of, she's a prostitute because obviously she wasn't wealthy. Most wealthy people do not become prostitutes, I hate to tell you. Not in the traditional sense of the word. I mean, they might be out there prostituting themselves, like just having sex for the sake of having sex, but they're not doing it for money. All right. So what does a marriage of convenience look like in the Cayman Islands? Let me give you all this story. A lot of y'all were commenting on it when it went up last night. I opted to not name the parties in this situation because, in fact, sometimes a person's name or the individual's names are not as important as what is actually happening. Like, I want y'all to focus on the facts. There are times when, quite frankly, you will have an opinion based on who the parties are. So you formulate an opinion. I don't want you to do that in this case. I want you to just look at the factual nexus of what happened. Somebody said, call Mr. Manderson on this, please. He won't speak on any particular case, but hold on. Hold on, folks. Listen to me carefully. If you marry someone and the reason why you are marrying them is transactional in nature, it is my belief that that is a marriage of convenience. If that is the primary reason, we got a problem. Okay? All right. We have a couple. They claim that they were in a relationship for a number of years. They got married 9 days before she died. Now, this is unusual in the sense that, let me be very clear. When you're a person of a particular age, it doesn't take you long, really, unless you just, you've had Elizabeth Taylor, you've had 5 marriages and you just keep getting it wrong, 8 marriages by the time she died. But when you're a person of a particular age, you kind of know whether or not you're in the long haul with this situation or not. Nobody has a, what's it called? Your globe, your silver. What's the thing that the psychics look into? Nobody has one of those. And we don't profess to be able to tell the future and know the future. However, you know, is this person marriage material? Is this just a hit and run? Which, by the way, somebody just sent me the song there. Shansi, is that her name? Shansia, whatever her name is, the Jamaican artist. She has a song called Hit and Run. I'm not so sure I've heard this song. Leave it and listen, Jamaicans sing about everything, trust and believe. They can make you buck your toe, they can make up a song about buck the toe and fly down the plane at the same time. So crystal ball, thank you. Nobody has a crystal ball to really predict all elements of your life. But listen, after you hit 35 and you're heading into your 40s, if you're dating someone for more than a year and a half, 2 years, and you're like, I don't want to marry them, it's not going in that direction, even if they're living with you. Now, to be clear, marriage isn't for everyone, but there are things that you can do to mesh your life together that demonstrates to people you might not need a little piece of paper, but you are committed to them. You are in a marriage with them. Even if it's just a civil union, it's not formalized. People know that is Sandy's man and she's his woman. Nobody not gonna be trying to have any other discussion. So you marry someone 9 days before they die. The person had a long-term illness, so death, unfortunately, was imminent. Long list of things wrong with them. When I tell you a long list, at least 10 serious illnesses. Lupus, kidney failure. They were on oxygen probably for the last year of their life. Raynaud's disease. I mean, unfortunately, poor Ting, the writing was on the wall. But I find it interesting that you could supposedly be with someone they claim for 4 years. And if you ask the average person, oh, did you know that so-and-so got married 9 days before she died? They're like, married to who? They don't even know that this man was in her life. Now, to be fair, there's some people who are very private with their relationships. In fact, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in this up to a point. Yeah, I get it. Because those of you who are flaunting your relationships on social media, oh my God, I love him. He's the best thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Chances are you're trying to convince yourself of the validity of that relationship and the fact that you're in love with them. As Shakespeare said, thou does protest too much, right? You don't have to go on and on every day about how much you love somebody. Because like I said, it's not about that. It's not about the words. You understand? But having said that, we all live our lives to a certain extent on social media. So you expect to see if two people are in a committed relationship for years, right? You will expect to see some meshing of their lives. Okay? It's weird when you don't see anything at all from both parties. Men tend not to do it so much as women because they're not into professing their love quite like that. Women, they're going to put a little something. Ooh, even birthday, a heart emoji. Oh, I love you, baby. Happy birthday. A little something. It is bizarre when you see no indication that somebody is in a relationship. They don't even update their status. Oh, I'm a divorcee. And he says, oh, he's in a relationship, but you can't see nothing else. They post everybody else. They post themselves alone. You're traveling alone. You're going to Jamaica. You're traveling on a plane by yourself. There's all these things that are like red flags. Are you actually in a relationship with someone? Like you're in a bona fide relationship? In fact, somebody, and I'm gonna read that because I think that this is a good point. And this becomes the question of, is this the very definition of a marriage of convenience? And I'm going to tell you why in this instance, I think this is exactly what it is. And it wasn't about she was being used. She well knew what was happening. She knew she was dying. And by all accounts, from the people that I've spoken to, she wanted to help him have a better life. That is the very definition of a marriage of convenience. They apparently lived together in the same house. He's got several children, one even allegedly during the course of their relationship. Young children. I'm sorry, but no man that I'm going to be with in a committed relationship, and I supposedly love that person, they love me, can be having any outside children during the course of any said relationship. I know how that part works, but some of y'all settle and you accept these things. I've seen it happen before. It's a very interesting phenomenon in the Caribbean, in fact, and probably all over the world. Y'all like, okay, he can go out there and have relationships, have whatever, because you can't give him exactly what he wants. Okay. When someone sits down and writes a letter the day that you died, to talk about they want to remain and work in the Cayman Islands, that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. They say in life, timing can be everything. Believe me, this is an example, a perfect example of when the timing is completely wrong. How many of y'all watch this show? Oh God, it was on that channel. What's the channel? Oxygen. Where the women kill the men. What's it called again? Y'all gotta help me out here. I want to say it's like She Did It, but that's not the name of it. Help me out. What's the name of that show in Oxygen? They're like Snapped. Yes, they're like the Discovery Investigative Channel. Every story is about how she killed him or how he killed her. Snapped. You know what insurance companies look at when they think a fraudulent situation has occurred with a death? Is how quickly you jump to make the claim. All right, hold on, Instagram folks. Instagram has put a new. We used to be able to go up to 4 hours, and now they've changed it where every hour we have to reset the live and IG. So bear with me. I hope they're going to change this back because this is annoying AF. Trust and believe me. Ugh, so annoying. Hold on a second, IG folks. Let me pull you back in because boy, them IG people, they be over there quietly listening. So the day that somebody dies, my God, I'm sorry, but you've been with this person for years. The furthest thing from my mind would be writing a letter to immigration dated that day and submitting it a few days later about how you want to remain in the Cayman Islands. Not the day the woman died. Come on now. There's certain things. Help me out here. Have we changed so much that the day she dies, it's okay for you to go out partying? This is what, oh, go out, boy, you can have a good time. You can go party. That is the world in which we now live in? Really? The day she dies is the day you pen a letter to immigration about you want to stay in this country? And how much her family means to you, and they've basically taken you in, and they are your entire world. Let me tell y'all something. There are red flags all over this situation. Let me put it this way. It is a red flag when you say, for example, I could tell you so many stories about our love, but you don't tell a single one. You don't tell a single one in the letter to immigration, and you've never told a single one about your love anywhere that anybody can see. People are private people, but a private person doesn't say those kind of things. Of course, I don't think for a minute he wrote this. Somebody else wrote this letter for him. But you don't say things like, I can tell you a million things, tell many stories about our love, but yet you've never told a single one. When somebody says, oh, her family has become my family, and they're all that I have in the world. No, sir, you have 2 young children. There's no mention of them in this cover letter. Why? Because once you get sorted out, they come in next. And the reason why we care about this, we're not trying to pry into people's business here, you know. We care about this because this is something that continues to undermine Cayman society at a very fundamental level. We are people who have come here and use this country, use us, make no contributions to this society. And that's what we keep bringing to Cayman. The people who should be your entire world are your children, not somebody else's family that is now dead. I could not imagine signing a letter, reading a letter, understanding it, and someone has written on my behalf talking about her family is my entire world. It's interesting because once again, on your social media page, there's not a single picture of any of her family members. They're in your entire world, but yet who you're actually posting are your children, your picnic in Jamaica, and other people in Jamaica. Nothing about them. Nothing about her. You don't even mention that you've gotten married. Now you're so keen to be married 9 days before somebody passes away. Yet, listen carefully now. You can write letter and date it the day that she dies, but you never had time to update your status to say you're married. You never had time to put up the marriage photo on either account. Funny enough, this is a Freudian slip. In the letter to immigration, he does not even refer to her with his name. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something about men, especially Caribbean men. They're a little bit funny sometimes about taking your name. So I've been married for over 9 years. And some of y'all still going around calling me by my ex-husband's name, which was Katron. And every time my husband hears that name, he looks like, what? You've been a hill for over 9 years now. In fact, and you know, my husband's a very private person. I want to say this because him and I are not even friends on social media, not at all. Right? We have decided that we don't need to live our lives on social media. We're not friends. And I like to post a lot. He's not into posting. He uses social media to read stories, and that's about it. In fact, let me go spy on my husband. Hold on. I'm going to go spy on Marlon. Let me see. I haven't looked at his profile in a minute. Honey chill. Let me see if he even has me listed. I mean, we're not Facebook friends, but I want to check something. We have mutual friends, obviously, because once again, when you get married, that becomes your family. So yes, I'm friends with his family members. Okay? I have photos of them, marriages, weddings, all this kind of stuff. Okay? I have photos of him and I vacationing from over 10, 12, 13 years ago. Like I said, I appreciate that not everybody lives their lives on social media. And my husband happens to be one of those people. So you're not going to really see him posting no vacation pictures or anything like that. However, we have a whole list of mutual friends. Oh, honey, oh, he got his profile locked down. Damn, y'all can't see nothing in his. No, sir. No posts available. When did he do all that, honey, chill? I might have to log into his account and see what's going on. So he has it where you can't see anybody. Not even photos? What? Yes, sir. Mess with him. He's IT and they won't up in his business for real. But seriously, his profile picture, he's got the one of just the beach, the ocean, the beautiful Caribbean Sea. And then his profile picture is a picture of him. It's old now. That's oh my gosh, really old. Picture of him, Gigi, and Coco from Christmas. Oh my God, 2018. Because like I said, he doesn't really live on social media, so he doesn't do a whole lot of updates or whatever. But if he was a person who was updating stuff, right? Updating, posting about his kids and all other aspects of his life, but never anything about being married or being, it would just be like, huh? What kind of relationship is this? So a person can't be private when they're just talking about one person that they're supposed to be in a relationship with. You make no mention of her with your name in your letter. To me, that's a red flag. So she passed away on the 19th of February. He writes this letter on the 19th of February, submits it, says that this letter is to request permission to work in the Cayman Islands. Stick a pin. You are working in the Cayman Islands on a work permit. So that's not what this letter is about. I don't know who wrote this letter for you, but that request does not even make any sense. You have a work permit. You're already working. You're a carpenter, roofer, something, construction worker. So that doesn't make any sense to me. You want to continue working. You're not about to get rolled over. Keep working. What you're asking really, although the letter erroneously says it, is you want to, on the basis of a marriage to a Caymanian, you want to be able to get your residency, your papers. And that starts you down a path of eventually getting status, being able to bring your kids here, all this sort of stuff. He goes on to say that her family they're all that I have left in the world. When you're a father of 2 children and you say that other people, not even blood relatives, are all that you have left in the world, what about your 2 children? You see, it's a deliberate denial of those children in this cover letter that makes me very, very concerned. And if I worked at immigration, I would do exactly what was initially done and refuse this application. Now, to be fair, I would not just be refusing it on the basis of where is this bona fide relationship? 9 days before the woman dies, all of a sudden y'all jump up and get married. It looks and smells like a marriage of convenience. You know what they say? If it look like it, it smells like it sound like it probably is it. But most importantly, we need to look at the law, because the law is important here. To be very clear, the law says the following. Okay, let's start with the first section, right? That talks about where the marriage, so it says the person may apply to the board for the grant of the right to be a Caymanian, where the marriage or civil partnership referred to in subsection 7A has not subsisted for a period of 7 years. So this now is where you don't reach that 7-year mark, right? Or the grant of the right to be Caymanian has been refused by the board. The surviving spouse or civil partner may apply to the director of WORC for the right to permanently reside in the islands, and the director of WORC shall take into account. Look at the very first thing that they have listed. The length of the marriage or civil partnership. 9 days, in my opinion, is not substantial enough. Especially when you would have known that this woman was on her deathbed, essentially. Why not marry her if you're claiming a 4-year relationship? Why not marry her 2 years ago? Even a year ago? Even 2.5 years? 3 years? It's confusing. The second criteria is whether there were any children of the marriage or civil partnership. Let me be very clear. Not only are there no children of this union, but his children. If she really wanted to help him, which, by all accounts, it seems like, that was what she wanted to do. And she actually said that to people. Oh, he's a good guy. I just want to help him have a better life. That's a marriage of convenience. If you're trying to help him have a better life, why didn't you ever adopt his children? 4 years together. You're trying to say, I've been with her through thick and thin. When she was sick, I was there for her. I was taking care of her. Okay. In 4 years, somebody has children. If you're really committed to them, their children become part of your life and the equation, especially because they're so young. They're not adults. So it is interesting that the adoption of family has only been one directional from what I can see. And it's in the direction of the people who actually benefit you the most. So there's no marriage, there's no children of the marriage. And then whether immediately prior to the death, the marriage or civil partnership was no longer subsisting as evidenced by decree, of a competent court. Well, that doesn't apply because they literally just got married days before. Subsection D, the applicant's ability to support themselves and any dependents. He has 2 dependent children. And the other interesting thing is that once again, you're going to be in a relationship with someone for 4 years and there is zero indication of the merging of your lives financially. The dude does not even have a bank account in the Cayman Islands. Now, this might seem like a minor thing, and I had people saying, well, my domestic helper, they don't have a bank account either. Well, yeah, okay. Is your domestic helper in a 4-year relationship, allegedly, with a Caymanian? That they're saying, I'm in this for all the right reasons? You don't even put down any roots here? I mean, you don't need a whole lot of roots to have a bank account. And having a bank account is one of the things that allows you to be able to prove to immigration your ability to support yourself and your dependents. So your cover letter makes no mention of the dependents. But you have the nerve, because this is a little bit of a special nerve, you have the nerve to admit that you've been living in the Cayman Islands for years. And you don't even have a bank account? So how on earth are you proving your fiscal position and that you can take care of your dependents? You can't. Because now them dependents are going to be coming here on the next flight and become part of our social welfare system. We going to be supporting them. Let's look at this other section of the law. Again, the board or the director. This is I think this is section 40 subsection 3. Talks about same things, the length of the marriage, whether there are any children, same criteria being repeated again. So on the face of it, the administrator who handled this application denied the request. You can stay on a work permit and continue to work. When it comes time for you to roll over, unless you find another Caymanian to jump on, then, Here's the interesting thing. After the Caymanian, after the administrator denied it, immediately the director of WORC writes them back and says, reconsider this application, and then it was approved. Come now. Help me understand how this works. Reconsider it on what basis? I would love to FOI that letter. On what grounds? Because if you look at the law, you will see the criteria laid out here very, very, very closely. Why would it be reconsidered? The first two things are definitely not met. The applicant's ability to support themselves and dependent children, where is the evidence of that? How would the director have relied, or what was he relying upon in order to say, or reconsider your decision to deny it? What evidence was there? The law is here for a reason. It lays out the requirements, the criteria. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody this morning, and they said to me, my last name, not me, but them, their last name should be Trump, because they feel very, very, very strongly about some of the foolishness that we're doing here in Cayman as it relates to immigration and the importation of people, including these marriages. Now, I'm a firm believer in this aspect. Yeah, Magdalene says, what? No bank account? Talking about he soon get one. I mean, listen, I know the banks kind of put you through the ringer, but when you work here, you can get something called a like a employee bank account or whatever. Very, very easy to open. All you need is a letter from your employer and that's it. And CNB, Butterfield, all of them will give you that type of account because they know that we obviously have a very transient population and people come here and they work here and they need banking services and whatever. It's one of the easiest things in the world actually to get is a friggin' bank account. But you've been here all these years and you don't even bother to get a bank account? You're in a relationship. Now, some guys, they don't have the skills. I'm going to be very honest with you. I see this all the time. Marlon, it's not that he doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the time. He'd be like, he called me and says, is my secretary around? I said, who the hell your secretary is? He used to say it was Coco, poor Coco. May she rest in peace. He's like, please ask my secretary, Coco, to contact CNB and da-da-da. He has me doing everything for him, all his banking, the whole 9 yards. But when I met the man, he had a bank account. He was making money and it was going into his bank. Okay. So some of y'all don't want to do certain things. Surely this wife, since the two of you are in a big time committed relationship, could have helped you over the years get a bank account. Why don't you have a bank account? It speaks to the fact that you're not putting down any meaningful roots. And this is not even all that meaningful here in Cayman. Yet you claim that these people are your family members and not one of them could help you get a damn bank account. There's so many other questions. What contributions would he have been making to the household? Or was the whole relationship just one of convenience? I get a free place to stay. I hug you up, make you feel nice and warm and fuzzy. And then that's it. So Sophia is wondering if there was any job even. I don't know, boy. The whole thing is there's a lot of questions. There are more questions than answers. And this is why I'm asking the questions. Now, this would be a very unusual situation, and perhaps the person can prove all of these things. The letter certainly didn't do it. One of the interesting things in the letter was this long list of all of her ailments and what was wrong with her, and that supposedly she died in his arms. So he marries her. By law, he's entitled now to her pension. She has 2 adult daughters. He's entitled to her pension. I don't know what her financial situation is in terms of her house or anything else. But you see, this is where y'all don't be paying attention. Because I have it on good authority that her children were going around asking questions before the marriage about whether or not this was a good idea. Let me be clear. Let me be very, very clear. What did children have to do with this? If this was a bona fide relationship and your mother was getting married, she certainly does not need your permission. And the fact that you would say, well, what do y'all think about this? Because, she wants to be able to help him. To help him. That alone speaks volumes. The ex-husband, also Jamaican national, who is handicapped, relying on only God knows now, of ill health himself. Yeah, man, let him marry the little you. Let her marry the youth, man. Him a good boy, him a good boy. And this will help him get started in life. That again, folks, is the very definition of a marriage of convenience. It doesn't mean that the person that you're getting married to, aka the Caymanian partner, is not well aware of what is happening, or they're not even participating in it. This is the problem with you all, my people. You're not just complicit in this, you are an active participant. And then you sit back and have the audacity to say things like, oh, what's happening to our country? Cayman not for Caymanians anymore. You think? And you want to blame the politicians. Y'all need to look in the mirror and see on an individual basis how you are contributing to the degradation of your own country. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. I know your feathers are ruffled this morning, but you're right. That is Ray Charles could see through that is a marriage of convenience. And Joel Scott, he erred in what he did or did it
Jeremy Scott, not Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, he should never have done that. He should have taken everything into consideration. Why would he do that? He's an intelligent man. I know him. He's my cousin. So I know him personally. He came up through the ranks of the rung of the ladder. And why would he
yes, he's been there. He's been there over 20-something years.
Yeah.
Only in exceptional circumstances should he intervene. And I don't see any exceptional circumstances here.
No, Sandy. What they need to do is to be fair to him, let him work out his work permit. Then after his work permit, deport him and ship his butt back off to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what it is Christ?
Well, it's not, to be clear, it's not deportation. Once your term ends, you go back home, you get rolled over, you spend whatever time, and then you come back.
Yeah, but if it's fraud, they should take him to court. But I don't know how to do that. But to me, it's so much wrong in this this thing. It's sad.
Yeah. Thank you, caller.
Anyway, I'm glad. I support you 100% because things that the Caymanians wouldn't know about, you're bringing it to the forefront. And I thank you.
You're welcome. What a mess. 936-2626 is the telephone number. It's a lot of questions. And again, I would only expect Mr. Scott to step in the most, listen, it has to stand out in his mind as a travesty of justice. Like, yes, they were children of the marriage, or the one spouse was like pregnant, or, something massive. Then you say, okay, this makes sense. This, on the face of it, should have been denied, should have stayed denied, and the director should have never intervened. Show me in law where you decided or what you decided to intervene on. Okay, this is the problem. We as Caymanians have to comprehend the term limit wasn't any time close. He still had time on his work permit. This is the question now, folks, for us as Caymanians. We're either going to take this good boat Cayman and start steering it in the right direction consistently, or we going to run it into the ground and it's going to be a free-for-all for everybody. We're going to become lawless. We're going to lose everything that we have, and we're no longer going to care. We're going to become like everybody else that we complain about. Which is it going to be? Let me tell you all something on a personal note, and then I'm going to move on to another case, another example of where you question the decision of these boards and administrators and whoever else doing foolishness. Okay? All right. I was just joking with you guys. Marlon says I'm his secretary, and he always jokes actually that it was Coco, right? I have never, since I've been married to this man, we started dating in September of 2013. I have never had Marlon ask me anything, any question about his immigration status. He has never said, I need status, I need PR, I need this, I need that. Not a single word. No interest whatsoever. It's not a topic of conversation. It's not something that he's chasing. From he came to Cayman, he had a US visa, right? Several years into our relationship, he had to make a decision. I told him, how is this going to go now, honey chair? He got a job offer to actually go and work in the United States of America. And he wanted to seriously consider it. And I said, really? And I said, well, guess what? I've been there, done that. I'm not really interested in moving back to the States at this particular time. Never say never. I'm not knocking America. Has it good and it's bad. But if you go in that direction, then this will be the end of us, because I ain't into no long distance thing either. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody present in here, in person. And I don't see that in my immediate future. So you decide. You move to the States. Sayonara. Good luck. Have fun working there. I'm sure, whatever. But if you're interested in this relationship, right now, this relationship is in the Cayman Islands. And that's where I'm at. I ain't moving to Jamaica or anywhere else. Now, that might have been, you never know, in terms of work, that might have been a great opportunity for him. But he's like, okay, I'm committed to this relationship. So I'm going to go ahead and stay put. He wasn't committed to the relationship because in the background, he's like, oh yeah, when can we, this is before we even got married. When can we get married? When can I get my papers? When can I get this? When can I get that? If you're in a relationship and somebody's pressing you for those things, you need to watch out. You need to pay attention. Cayman is a very small jurisdiction, folks. The pie is only so big. And there's a lot of people who have a desire to come here, and I don't have any qualms in principle with people wanting to improve their plight in life. But there are limitations on what we can take in. And I think we need to be very, very careful. Here's another example that I'm going to give y'all. Honduran mother. I don't even know if we're still friends on Facebook, because the other day she was messaging me some foolishness. And I had to tell her she got any sense, she better come off my messaging. She left during COVID because she was running a scam on people here. Y'all gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. She ran back to Honduras because things were getting hot. Remember the money scam where they were taking the friendship circle and whatever? They were taking your money and wasting it on foolishness, and then you were expecting this big return, this big payout. She was one of those people. Go look it up. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And she was on there. I think I finally block her? Anyway, she lost custody of her children because she's a no good mother from Honduras. She lost custody of her own children because she's not no good. So simple as that. We not cutting no. Listen, we not gonna play around here today. No good. Came and latched on to one of them fool brackers and got him mixed up in some situation. Was running that scam the other day. Had to run back to Honduras. Has never really taken care of her children. Got two boys and an older daughter from another marriage. So the two boys that came out, cute little boys, young men now. I think one even works for a good, decent government job. And she ran the other day because she owed all kind of money to people. Things were getting hot. Been in Honduras all this time. All kind of stories about where she coming from Honduras. Oh, Sandy, you know that boat that they just came in the other day with drugs? That's her brother. That's her people. They mix up all kind of stuff down in Honduras. Bunch of criminals and crooks and drug runners and this and that. I said, really? That's interesting. It's interesting because just the other day, these same people over at WRC gave her residency. She got her papers off of, oh, these are my children that she's never taken care of. Okay. Caymanian family members, the husband have taken care of and raised these children. She's made no contribution to them. They allowed a minor child. Listen to me when I tell you that goes on in this country. They have allowed a minor child to write her a reference letter. That child can't enter into any contracts. That child can't go and buy certain things at the store. How on earth you're going to allow them to write a letter? The poor child is being manipulated. Right? You don't speak to the child's legal guardian. He's underage. But yet he could write a letter, and on the foundation of that letter that he wrote, you're going to give his no good mother the opportunity to come back to Cayman. Talking about she's going to be support. She needs to work here to be able to support her children. Well, she hasn't supported them her entire life. The child is now 15 years old. I seriously doubt she's going to be supporting him now. Really? This is the foolishness that is happening in our country. Now, poor WRC, they're like, Sandy, we're trying to do our best. You know, and I'm not blaming the average workers, because in a situation like this, Jeremy, I like you. I think you're a nice guy. Like your cousin just said, you're supposed to be smart. But there seems to be decisions that are being made at a higher level that not even going to the boards, that I have to question what on earth is happening here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Mm-hmm. How are you?
I am gonna give you a scenario that actually went through the courts.
Mm-hmm.
This man married to this Caymanian woman.
Mm-hmm.
From a previous marriage, she has 2 children from a previous marriage.
Mm-hmm.
They got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
That's the previous marriage.
Okay.
The court awarded her the house based on the fact that the children, she had 2 kids for this man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The man it didn't squeeze him because of what he was.
Mm-hmm.
They divorced. She married to another man when one of the child was about 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was no children that was produced from this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
They were together for maybe about 15 years. They adopted a child.
They adopted which child? Her children or somebody else's children?
No. Her children is already Caymanian, you know.
Oh, okay. All right. So she's the
Caymanian
here. She's the Caymanian.
Yes.
Okay.
They adopted a child. This child wasn't the husband child any at all. They adopted a child.
Okay. Connected to the husband at all, or just
no,
okay.
Wasn't related to the husband at all.
Okay.
So on that, she got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Went through illness. She died.
Right.
Did not leave a will.
Mm-hmm.
This man apply as executor. What is that? It executor for the will.
Yes, executor for estate. Mm-hmm.
He denied the adopted child.
What do you mean he denied the adopted child?
Yes, I'm the exact word I'm using.
Oh.
Because they ask, I think they would ask if there is any minor child involved.
Uh-huh.
He denied her.
To
now,
who did he deny her to?
The courts.
The courts. Oh, for the purposes of the estate.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this lady, she acquired another house. And the circumstances in which she acquired this house is that after Hurricane Ivan, her mom's house got destroyed. And there was a program where I think CIDB was helping persons to fix back their home. And under that, the mother was to now place this daughter on the documents for her house.
Mm.
After the house was fixed, the daughter refused to revert the house in totality to her mom. Her mom died, so the house automatically becomes hers.
Mm.
Now, fast forward, this man applied as executor, and do you know, Sandra, that the court gave this man both house? The 2 previous kids who the matrimonial house would have been theirs because it is coming from their father. The court give these 2 houses to this man, and these children are out having to be paying rent. So it is not just immigration, it's our old system.
Yeah.
And
this is why people need to educate themselves, because listen to me, if you die without a will, and I'm going to give you some other examples of where this has happened, right? If you die without a will, your will is your last wish and testament. There's a reason why you do a will, because then you're leaving it up to other people to decide what to do with your estate. And you should not be so presumptuous that even a husband or wife is going to do the right thing. I have known of Caymanians, listen to me, that have been married to their spouses for 40-something years. And then that spouse dies. They come and get a Johnny or Samantha come lately from Honduras, the Philippines, Jamaica, America. It don't make no difference where they come from. And then all of a sudden, that person manages to ice out the children of that union. And in one case that I'm thinking about, there was only one child of the union. That couple only had one child. I say his mother must be turning in her grave if she could see how this woman has come into her home that she built with her husband and lived there for 45 years of marriage. Now the whole clan from the Philippines is here. He is taking care of her family. And his son and him do not even speak and do not even have a relationship. It's happening. It is happening.
It is so sad, and it's so ironic that I mean, the two children that I'm talking about, they apply for legal aid. For legal aid, because you don't know much about law, to get help, and they were denied.
Now, somebody said that you reap what you sow. The daughter was dishonest and not giving the house back altogether, and she needed to make a will, and her husband would be, husband would be entitled to the estate. And this is the thing that you have to understand. When you go look at the law that deals with wills and people who are intestate, right? It is very, very clear. There's actually an order of who, in the case that you die without a will, who will get what you have. And I'm telling you, the spouse is at the top. People assume that children are at the top in Cayman, but they're not. It is a spouse. That is why even the pensions law, that call dropped. I don't know if the caller meant to hang out, but even the pensions law, go read about wills and probates. The spouse is entitled to your pension. So make sure that you understand the implications. And do not think for 1 minute, because y'all like, oh, my husband, boy, he loved me. We've been married 45 years. He would never do that to me. I have seen it with my own 2 eyes more times than I care to admit and I care to account for. These old men, especially if they're of a particular generation, all they're looking for somebody is to cook for them, rub their back and burp them a little bit, sleep in bed with them maybe once for the month or once a week. I don't even know if the Viagra can keep it going that quick or that often. That's all they need. They don't require very much. And you better believe, listen to me carefully, folks. When you have somebody living in your house and sleeping in your bed, it's not going to take long for them to get in your head and become your number one priority, even over your own children. It happens more with men. And I'm going to tell you, I have a theory about this with men. Okay? Men do not connect with children in the same way that women do. So you think, well, this is his only son. Who else is he going to be connecting with? Oh, honey child, please. When he start popping Viagra and that woman start popping him, he going to forget all about your so-called only child. Take my advice. Get yourself a will. Let me be very, very clear. Don't leave it in the hands of what you think was a good husband for 45 years, because when you're dead and gone, there is nothing that you will be able to do about the situation. Put your affairs in order from day one. Yes, sir. 9362626. Let's read some of your WhatsApp comments. So this person says, good morning, Sandy. How are you doing? Who owns Vine and Tap? We're gonna get to that story. Johan is present now. They were telling me at 7:54. So you're telling me that under the same application, Mr. Scott gave him status or RERC? No, sir. Call Mr. Manderson on this, please. He knows the law like he knows the back of his hands. And then they say, shh, I know it's that lady. That's what WRC does. Breaking heart emoji. Honey child, she was sick. And up until the day before she died, she was getting medical attention. No husband in sight or even being an arm candy. Well, according to him and his story, he was there for her and she died in his arms. Some of y'all telling me we better open that investigation about what finally killed her. Do a toxicology report, but I not go in there. She was sick, so it was only a matter of time. His dependents and his Jamaican woman will soon be here if they're not here already. Jeremy Scott should not have done that at all. He needs to answer to this. First, an administrator should not deal with such applications. That should be the board that would have more members to decide such a very delicate application. Well, you'd be surprised that the majority of applications actually get sent to administrators and they decide on them, even work permits. Not very many things go to the boards as much as you would think. And they rewrote the law some years ago to make it the case. Yep, that's her child. The children of hers will now get nothing. But apparently they were supporting this. They were supporting his application. Now, to be clear, I've not spoken to her children, but I do find it interesting as people who supported his application went as far as even writing him reference letters in support of his application. The singular wedding photo of the two of them that was posted on social media has since been taken down. Why? If this was a bona fide marriage and a bona fide relationship, there are people showing up to her funeral who didn't even know that she'd gotten married. They're like, oh, she got married? When that happened? And you have one photo. Why do I smell coffee? Miss Stacy, boy, you strong with the coffee today. You have one photo that's up of the two of them getting married. And all of a sudden that one photo has now disappeared. Why? Who trying to erase? I mean, this is very strange. They say, because what is for my children will be my children's, because no man not getting a red cent from me, honey child. Yes, sir. They thought he would continue giving them his 2 cents, but they soon find out, watch and see, because they all money hungry. Well, doesn't the matrimonial home automatically go to the surviving spouse, even if there's a will? As long as it is the matrimonial home. So there can be, like this situation, it sounds like this woman had multiple homes. So it certainly depends. Gosh, I'd have to go back in my notes about the line of succession with wills and probates and stuff like that. I actually had some very good notes on this, to be honest. But yeah, normally the surviving spouse is entitled to bank accounts, money left over, the whole 9 yards. They said, don't mention my name, but in my case, our parents transferred the house to all the children. And if they've done that transfer already before either one of them are deceased, then obviously that's a very different thing. Mm-hmm. And again, I mean, you know, I'm thinking, I know this person, you know, heaven forbid your mama dies first. You think you can really trust your father to make good decisions? Although they've been married for, you know, he just got to get the right person coming, cracking his nuts and each child, and he gonna be giving them everything. I've seen it too many times. These men are like, oh, but she cooks for me and she takes care of me. I'm like, yes. And your deceased wife did that for 45 years. When you had nothing, no house, no pot to piss in, nothing, your wife was there with you through thick and thin. Bore your children. Now this Johnny come lately, Jean come lately, is going to reap the benefits of your cumulative hard work. This person says, oh Lord, well, based on the facts you stated, WRC would be so whatless if they approve that application. He does not qualify whatsoever. I don't care who wrote in to support him from his side. If it was a US visa application, he'd be denied because he doesn't meet the criteria. hot mess. Y'all sending me videos. I'm not sure what these videos are for, but okay. All right. I'll have to look at that. Miss Sandra, if you write something on paper, would it work like a letter saying if I die, so-and-so, and sign and date it? Would it work in the court? All right. So it looks like what we need to do is we need to have a session on wills and probates, because you got to make sure that you do it the right way. And as you can see, there are people who are all too happy to challenge your last will and testament. I'm not an attorney at law. I have only studied will and testaments in a classroom setting. I look at cases all the time, and I see how things can go far left, far right, and all over the place, because as Caymanians and Jamaicans say, some of y'all just sitting down waiting on dead left. You're just waiting on somebody to die so you can get what they have. And y'all will fight. I have seen Caymanians fight over nothing else. Y'all not even fighting over doing the right thing in life. But when it comes to dead left, oh God. Y'all will kill each other, kill family over that. Trust and believe. No, sir. What does the Bible say? Bless the child that has. Mom and daddy might have, but bless the child who has his own. But y'all be trying to kill each other, boy, I tell you. No, sir. Priscilla, good morning. Says immigration is the first pillar of Cayman's economy. Lord Jesus. That's sad. What a ting. So, there are some questions and some things that are happening here. Somebody says a trust is better than a will. Sandy, people need to be educated. Even the pension, oh Lord, the baby boomers and older. I'm going to reach out to some lawyers here and see if we can have a discussion on trusts and wills and that sort of thing, because I think it would be worth your while to learn a little bit more about how this process works. But the probate legislation, wills and probate, is very, very clear on the line of succession if you die intestate. Intestate means that you die without a will. Good morning, caller.
Wait.
Hello? Hello? I think I'm being butt dialed. Hello?
6.
Okay. Sound like that was a butt dial. Y'all gotta be careful about dialing me, honey child, because we be hearing all your business. No, sir. Is this another person butt dialing me? Can I tell y'all the situation? Somebody butt dialed me one time. It turned out to be an hour-long conversation. I didn't hang up because I wasn't sure if the person actually needed my help. It was bizarre. Most people, when they butt dial me, right, I'm like, oh no, this is obviously a butt dial. And I cannot tell y'all who it is. I can't give too much information. But what I will tell you is that the person who butt dialed me was actually having an argument with their spouse. Speaking of spouses, honey child. So I didn't know and it was the man. And I thought to myself, oh my God, maybe he's in trouble. And so he wants me to hear it in case something happens, like she's about to stab him or whatever. I was like, oh my God. So I kept listening. It was so funny because I was in Miami, sitting in the chair getting my pedicure. So I had nothing else to do as well. And I kept listening. And I was like, should I hang up? Should I not hang up? Does he want me to hear this? Because, something happens. He's like, Sandy was a witness. I mean, I don't want to be a witness to murder, but, maybe he's like wanting me to hear it. Honey child. Woo! I said to myself at the end of that conversation, I said, boy, you never know. You see people and they're taking vacations and they're posting again, living their best social media lives. Or they're traveling and they're frolicking in the snow and family vacation. They had an elaborate, pretty wedding and all this kind of stuff. And honey child, their relationship is so messy. Oh, geez, peace. she was cussing him. And at some point, she actually got physical with him because he's like, oh, you hit me. And this and that. She's like, you. And oh my God, I was like, what the hell? Is she going to hurt him? Like, what do I do? Do I call 911? Do I just keep listening in case she stabs him? Then I become the star witness to the prosecution? I don't know. Oh my God. She was accusing me. You had an affair with your co-worker? And who is she? Why is she messaging you? I was like, Lord Jesus. You see? The sus comes to me when I'm not even looking for it. No, sir. That was, ooh. I mean, like an hour later, they were still cussing and fighting and carrying on. I was like, how the hell do y'all find the energy to argue this long? Wow. I couldn't. I don't got that kind of energy. I'm sorry. I would have tapped out 5 minutes into that argument. I would have been like, I'm done with you. The evidence is there that you cheating with your coworker. I'm so done with you. Oh, I mean, she went from to and fro, and finances came into the mix. I keep telling y'all, but this is money business, not mash up enough relationships. Mm-hmm. And you got promotion at this bank, and why are you going out with this woman? And why are you doing and why? Why are you going out with her lunching alone? Why are these messages? Why is she sending you these messages? She works under you. Well, sorry, I was like, Lord Jesus, here the sus. But boy, if you look on the outside of that relationship, you would think they're like, what meshes well together? Batty and bench. You would have thought that relationship was solid, yo. Young children, that's the part that I felt bad about, the young children. And something came up about the kids. And I said, you know what is so funny though? Knowing what I know about her parents, I don't know much about him, but knowing what I know about her parents, she's gonna stay in that relationship. She's not going nowhere. I'm like, why you peasing apart? Yeah. I'm like, why you fighting and arguing with the man for? Why you threatening him, hitting him? You not going nowhere? Go sit down. Because these people are more concerned about appearances, right? They want to look good. They need to live a particular lifestyle on the front of it. And behind, you peeking through the window and you're like, ooh, this is what really going on up in here. Anyway, I didn't know what to do. So I just listened. White on rice, yes, sir. And I never said anything to him because by the end of the conversation, I was like, what are the chances? Let's look at this. We just had a solar eclipse, right? Phenomenal. What are the chances that you are going to butt dial Sandra Hill of all the people in your contact list? The strange thing is this isn't someone that I talk to, like, I got him on my list. He's in my news group. And if I see him, we have a quick little 2-minute conversation. This not somebody that I call in and me and him gonna be chit-chatting. So of all the people that you could have butt dialed, you gonna butt dial me? Huh. I may tell you the cosmic thing there was all kind of mixed up that day. I was like, this is wild. Honey child. But you know what? I didn't say anything to him. All this time later, somebody said, like, Johanna. No, it wasn't Johanna. Johan says, because it wasn't me. No, it was not Johan. I'm not telling y'all who it is, but it definitely was not Johan. And he don't have several young children with his woman. He only got one and 2 children, but only one is young. But no, it definitely wasn't. It wasn't him. And I talked to Johan. So, I mean, if Johan calls me, we have conversations, I've been to Johan's house. He's been sitting his big behind on my sofa, eating my brownies. So, no. Like I said, I just thought it was so weird because I'm like, how did you accidentally get my number? I'm not in your favorites list. I'm not in the last 10 people that you've called or even the last 100 people that you've called. So how this person accidentally dialed me that day, only God knows. Some of y'all would call it divine intervention because you're like, ooh, Sandy, anything ever happened now? I can go to court and testify that, child, this marriage been on the rocks a long time. Mm-hmm. Marshall says, I want to know who he is. I know y'all want to know. Y'all too nosy. Cha. Oh my God. Mm-mm. The moon and the donkeys must have lined up, said Cameron. Oh my God. Oh, Siobhan said, I wouldn't have been arguing. I would have been packing. I would have been done and packing. I'm not arguing with no man over no man. Lord, I mean, no woman over no man, I hope. But I mean, I guess you can be married. I mean, you could be arguing over man too, but I don't think that's what you meant to say. Don't get in between them, Sandy, because both of them will turn loose on me. Not my business, honey child. This one, no. I don't know either one of them that well. And I nope, I'm not getting into it. Definitely not my business. They'll work it out one way or the other. Working it out might be divorce court. Angel says, Sandy, that could happen to anyone. It could be your number that they happen to dial. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just don't even know how it happened. But anyway, let's read a few comments. Sandra Coe in the house says, thanks, Sandy. This is a terrible situation. Immigration should be ashamed. May God help us. We better try and help ourselves. You know, there's a concept that God helps those who help themselves. We have to be reliant. And when people bring these stories to my attention, I gotta tell you the truth. I always feel bad digging up into this kind of stuff, especially that the woman is deceased. You know, that's a sad situation. People mourning her death or whatever. But if the husband can have letter written the day of her death and he's out partying that night, I do question how bona fide was this relationship? How much did you really care? Now, I told y'all that her children initially seemed to have been supportive of it. I don't know what their position is now. The reality might have set in for them, since he's going to be bringing them 2 children from Jamrock over pretty soon. And her ex-husband, who happens to be a Jamaican, was also supportive of it. That doesn't surprise me, because there is a cultural acceptance that here in Cayman, especially with Caymanian women, I'm even going to say Caymanian men as well, that we are here for other people to use us. And in their cultures, using people to advance yourself in life and to better yourself, that's normal. That's run of the mill. They don't see nothing wrong with that. For some of us, that's like weird. I remember I briefly dated a guy, 6 months, from Colombia. What a mistake. He didn't know how much Spanish I understood. So while he was messaging just chicken and talking about, oh, that's my cousin, I was like, you're such a damn fool. What a fool. Anyway, he came, like I tell you, check people. You know when they're genuine. So I had my little apartment, and he, after 2 weeks, thought he could move in with me and live rent-free in my apartment. And I was like, no, honey child, that not happening. You get a place to rent. You go get a place to rent. If you're in a dire situation, I might help you out, you know, if we're dating, but this not no shock in that business. You're not coming around me. So no, you go get a place to rent. Oh, I can't afford this. That not my business. You're a security guard. If you can't afford, you upskill yourself. You go get an education. You're the one out there at your age with 3 children. One that he wanted to deny that was right there in Jamaica. Any man that denies his children is a no good man. You hear me? And you drop him like a hot potato. That shows a lot about his character. Anyway, he goes and get this little place down Windsor Park. So I got my comfortable apartment in Newlands. You know, I'm not gonna be hanging out Windsor Park too much. So when it's time to knock boots, honey child, you have to come visit me. Not gonna be the other way around. Anyway, but still, you know, I'm down with. I'll come over and we can sit down and have a little chat. But then, honey child, when I see the roaches starting to come out and they using flashlights to look at me, time for me to step out. I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. Listen, I see a cockroach up in your place. Like, no, 1, 2, I gotta go. You need to do some cleaning. You need to spray around the place because the whole area needs to be exterminated. Oh, you think you're better than me. You see the mind games that people try to play on you? Oh, you think you're better than me? I said, let me be very clear, honey child. I come from humble beginnings and I remain a humble person. I not know better than nobody. But you have to strive to do better in your life. And that ain't got nothing to do with me. You're not going to guilt trip me into supporting you and making you move into my apartment because, I've worked a little hardish and achieved one or two little things, and you can come ride off of my back and off of my hard work. What contribution would you be making? That's the question I ask. What will you bring to the table? Cheating, dirty ways? I don't think so, son. You need to get the hell out of here. Caymanians, stop making people use you. Yeah, it come like y'all not got no sense. You have sold your birthright for little to nothing in all fronts and to everybody. We're the biggest prostitutes in the world from that sense. Anybody can come here and get one off on us. And we sitting down like fools. Come on now. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with you saying that there's certain things you're not going to settle for in life. If you've worked hard, you have gone out there and got your education, you've elevated yourself, why are you going back down in the dumps? For what? Somebody who can't offer you nothing? You know what? Use your head, not your heart, a lot of times, to think about the situations that you're getting yourself into. Simple as that. And people will try to manipulate you and guilt trip you into all sorts of stuff. And it don't make no sense. Because all they see is a better life for them and theirs. And the irony of it all is they are actually going to come here and further tear down and degrade your own country. They're not adding anything of value. And I'm sorry, but when we got this little piece of rock, you should be asking, what value is this person bringing to my life and also to my country? That's why we don't need to be importing criminals. You shouldn't be marrying criminals. And the second you marry them and then you notice that that's the kind of behavior that they're into, get rid of them. I am shocked at Caymanians every day. I see them in court. Oh, he has a Caymanian wife. This is the argument that the lawyer put before the judge. And he already got his anchor baby and a Caymanian child. Not even taking care of them, not even making no contribution. You so-called Caymanian women and Caymanian wives and men too need to step up to the plate and say, no. You're not going to stay in this country off of me and tear down this country under no circumstances. Tammy says, I don't know. I didn't know getting papers was this easy. What I'm waiting on, no sir, child. I'm telling you. Soka, good morning. She's talking about the 90-day people. Said Jenny and Sumit were together for 13 years. She lives with him in India now. Yeah. And they have a little business. One mess. Still not compatible. But anyway, they hold on. Good for them. What should I say? Some just there for the money and the exposure, like Chantel and her mother. Oh, Lord, have mercy. And he was another one from the DR that was using Chantel. Just took him a minute to show his true colors. Dan says, I guess we had some Cuban refugees show up and came back the last couple of days. I found an abandoned boat up at the launch last night. Oh, had to call the police who should have seen it if they were actually patrolling. Mess. Magdalene says it's sad that some of our Caymanians are so stupid that the law has to be in place to protect our people, and the stupid people are contributing to our demise. Yes, every single day. Unfortunately, Magdalene, that is the case. We have to take responsibility. The law will only protect us so much, but the law can't protect you from yourself if you're not got no sense. And trust me, I have seen, even within my own family, the marriages of convenience that are happening. Shocking. And every one of them, you know what? This is what I believe. Some of them, they need to stop from even being able to get a marriage certificate because it is so obvious. I'm sorry, but when you're in Jamaica, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you can't make it work with none of them, maybe you need to stop marrying them. And the marriage officers need to say, you know what? I'm not marrying you no more. That's it. No, sir. I tell you. Leroy says it's not spilling tea no more. It's porridge. Vicky, good morning. Says while the woman is sick and the same helper that is caring for her, the husband is buzzing the helper. And soon as his wife is dead, he marries the helper. Oh, yes. I've seen that situation quite a bit as well. Where the helper takes over the household. Good morning, Blair. Says, don't waste the tea, but please always spill the tea. Ay. What a hot mess. Strong Will says 2-minute brownies. Oh, that's Johanna, true. Angel says, Sandy, that can happen to anyone. It could be your number. Oh, I did read that one already. Thank you, Angel. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up on messages. No, sir. No, honey child. I'm just telling you that Strong Will some but I had planned to no, let's not get confused now. But what I'm telling you is they will try to use anybody. If somebody can try their head on me, somebody say a couple kabooms needed. If they can try and use their head on me, and I not no fool, and I don't know Johnny come lately, imagine the poor little Caymanians who not really up to speed. Of course, these people are trying to use you. Tammy says, not the roach using the flashlight, right? I was like, oh my God, I can't be around here. There's too many roaches. Y'all know I have a roach phobia. Woo! I can't even touch a roach when it's dead. Like a dead roach on its back. I'm not picking that up. Who? I call Marlon. Marlon, come here, please. He's like, what is it now? Frog, roach? Just come here. I can't deal with them. No, sir. Oh, Jesus. Aye. Cameron says, been there and I'm not going back. Been where? Hanging out with the roaches? Lord Jesus. Siobhan says, ain't nobody using me. I learned that the hard way. Never again. I got boundaries now and a whole lot of attitude. You go, girl. Kaboom! Give you a kaboom. Johan says, because it's sweet. Somebody needs to pull up that clip for me. Yes, sir. This person says, look at this church. Oh, Lord Jesus, that's a whole nother conversation over there. Somebody said, listen, if this application gets approved, it got approved, denied, then approved. When I marry my nanny so that she don't get rolled over on a mind, on a business. Lord have mercy. Y'all can't be serious now. She said she had married a nanny so the nanny can stay in Cayman. Ay. What a hot mess. Y'all cracks me up. Take the sword out of the heart slowly, child. They feeling it hard, preach it. What a mess. Siobhan says this comment ain't about a man. Don't need any of those. Aliano, good morning. Says, trust me, immigration needs to do better because there's some people in the country that just do meet marriage equality at all. Just don't meet, I think, marriage equality at all. Multiple babies, baby mama and baby daddies, just nope. Marriage void in big, dirty red ink. Big denied stamp. Boom, denied. Sadie says, but Sandy, it's two ways the Cayman women use the men who's making them build up house and then get rid of them. Oh, Sadie, trust and believe a marriage of convenience isn't one way. A lot of times it's both ways. But I'm not holding the foreigner accountable, because who don't want come man? Y'all complain, but this is still the best little rock on this side of the hemisphere. Things going on around here. I can't blame them for looking a better way of life. They don't want to be living with the cockroaches. I just told you that. It's a two-way street. It is the companion in the relationship who, in my opinion, is to be held accountable. They're the ones that should be sending to jail for these marriages of convenience. Because yes, they're looking for something. And sometimes it's not even as much as, oh, he can be contributing, building my house, because some of them not really bringing much to the table. You might just be using them for sex, honey child. Because some of y'all companion women can't get nobody else. So you'll take anything. So you figure, okay, he can be sucking on my toes at night. I'll just take him. That's good enough. No other criteria needed. And then he looking for a better way of life. It's an arrangement that is not benefiting this country. So without a doubt, I know in a lot of these marriages of convenience, the Jamaican husband, most of it's them, let's be honest here, have to pay the Caymanian money in order to remain married to her and get status off of her. Hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more. And she calls him, you better have my money ready for me come Friday. And he can go out there and do whatever he wants as long as come Friday, he got that money in her hand. You can imagine? We are so stupid. Selling our country. Because again, the vast majority of those people don't care nothing about Cayman. They mean Cayman no good. Bringing their dirt and nasty ways here. Right? Making no contribution. And you think just because they're greasing your palms that that's enough. Because you're lazy behind and want to get up and have a real job. Our people, let us take accountability. Sadie and everybody else. We are our own worst enemy. We make the poor decisions from electing the no good politicians that just they riding us too, they using us too. That's another situation of convenience. To electing them and not holding them accountable. We're going to be talking about education. Maybe we might get to it tomorrow. Caymanians, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. This education report that came out the other day. It is no wonder our people not going nowhere. But y'all talking about you want to blame the expats for that too. Blame your damn self. Get up and look in the mirror. Take accountability. We have a lot to answer for in this country. I can tell you that without fear of contradiction. It is beyond ridiculous. But nobody don't want to tell y'all the truth because heaven forbid you should get a dose of the truth and somebody might hurt your feelings. Oh God, no. In 2024, we can't hurt nobody's feelings. Oh, Sandy, but you gotta think about her feelings, and gotta remember where she coming from. And I said, really? I came from the same place. Get your feelings out of the way. Pull up your big girl panties and let's get on with it. Gabby says, I was offered 20 grand one time. Talk truth, Sandy. And to some people, 20 grand, a lot of money. They would have jumped on that. But ask yourself, if somebody willing to pay you 20 grand and come see where they're really getting it from, what are you giving up in exchange? What is the trade-off? You can come here and you can work for a number of years, earn your money, send it back home. If we say we don't want the entry for you living here long-term to be that easy, We must have criteria. Somebody said we need to go back to advertising all these people who want to remain in this country so people can have an input into it. If we're saying, you know what? Yes, a work permit is the easiest thing in the world to get. But let's not make status, PR, and all these other things so incredibly easy to get. How is that wrong? Let's talk about the United States of America for a minute here now. Right? Because they're a bunch. Lord Jesus. If you think they're not going to protect their borders when they're ready, I know one thing, y'all not paying attention. Listen to this scenario. Young girl, I think she might be 18 years old. Goes to poor little child. My tweet him. Such a sweet little girl. She goes to Jamaica. Now, poor thing, she didn't even want to go to Jamaica by herself. She was so scared. The father went with her and so forth, right? She had been traveling to the US, staying with an aunt and so on, trying to find a school. And she decided what she wants to do and where she wants to go to school. Finally made a decision. Now she has to get her US visa. Student visa. Do you all know that them people over there in America, in Jamaica, right? Turn down her visa application. Now, something going on at that U.S. embassy. I don't know what it is, but something going on at that U.S. embassy because they've been up to some shenanigans lately. They are going to turn down her student visa, the opportunity to study and better herself, talking about, oh, you were traveling too much on the waiver. I'm like, what? I get the concept of the waiver system is supposed to be okay, like, the one-off travel, but it doesn't prohibit you from traveling more than once on a waiver. And if that is a new policy or whatever, shouldn't they tell us? Nope, they're not telling us nothing. Made this child spend money getting medical done, airline tickets, hotel, this, that, all kind of foolishness, only to go to Jamaica for them to tell her, nope, denied. Poor thing. I think she needed to know how to respond to them and then say, hold on a second. How can you deny me on criteria that nobody don't know nothing about? But you see, I'm telling you this story. Number one, y'all need to know that there's some real shenanigans going on in that embassy office in Jamaica. And number two, on top of it, they don't care. Right? You're not going over there and telling them how they can run their country. Just like you can't go when you're going through customs, what they call themselves, Homeland Security. You're not telling them how they can run things in the United States of America. Listen, when I step on American soil, I'm a visitor in their country and I act accordingly. Certain things I don't get mixed up on. And this is coming from somebody who lived in America for 15 years. I'm like, nope, that's for them. Leave them right over there. So I remember one time I was talking to one of their Homeland Security a couple of years ago. And he said to me, oh, well, why haven't you applied for citizenship? Because he heard my accent and he made some assumptions because I haven't had U.S. residency. I gave it up. I'm like, I don't want your residency anymore. Right? And I said, oh, I don't live in the U.S. and there's no need for me to have U.S. citizenship. I don't want it. Not everybody wants it, believe it or not. Just because sometimes I might sound like an American don't mean that I want to be one. Sorry for you. Pay attention to what's going on, because I also said the other day, while some of you have your heads stuck in the sand and you think that Cayman got always, oh, we were so lucky to get a waiver system and we're special. We not nobody to them anymore. Let me be very, very crystal clear. We're not special. They do not care. Okay? They don't care. Not only do they not care, but so much fun of business going on over there now. I would say that they're targeting Caymanians. I mean, if I was a objective person just looking at it, they're making a lot of decisions that to me aren't even logical. There are people who are being denied, like setting aside the Cuba situation. There are people who have gone through the correct steps, done everything that they were supposed to do. And all of a sudden, they're either having visas revoked or denied. On what basis? You're like, huh? Nat B says, I had an indefinite visa, which the U.S. Have now canceled that policy. And they denied me a student visa, and I had to defer university for a year. Did you eventually get it, or you just went somewhere else for university? This is sad. But guess what? When they do it, I bet you one thing. You're not going to be writing to their head of Homeland Security about, I'm going to appeal this decision, and you better reverse it and give me my PR, my rights to work. They'd be like, who you is? Who you be? Oh, no, honey chill. You keep stepping. It's so funny that everybody else has the right in the world to secure their borders and to set policy in place. They make decisions. We might not like the decision, but who are you going to fight with? The U.S. Embassy? Our own leadership in this country will tell you. We've been begging for them to have a consulate here, to give us certain privileges here. And they're like, nope, y'all too small. We don't care about y'all. Go sit down. What are we going to do? Our people not got no power. What would Julie gonna go and tell the Biden administration? Who in Homeland Security is she gonna go and say, well, I give you a piece of my lashing, my brat tongue, if you don't approve our people? They'd be like, miss, who are you? Premier of what? Of who? Where? Huh? Get off our soil. But now, make Caymanians be the one to take a little bit of an attitude. Let's protect what we have. I'm not saying that everybody coming here to use us, and we mustn't let anybody in. I'm saying let us be selective. At least don't bring in the criminals and the no good people, bring in their bad-mindedness and their poor lifestyle. Raise the bar. Oh, no, Sandy, you can't do that, You can't be saying them things. Everybody got right, human rights. We all got right to come here. They'll come take over. Anyway, honey child, y'all crazy. Live says it's time for Cayman to return the favor. Go right ahead. I don't think they even care. There is a U.S. consulate here. There's not a U.S. embassy. So a consulate is very different than an embassy, to be clear. So let me just clarify that in case I may have misspoken. Good morning, caller.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I heard you about this embassy thing. I've been wanting to discuss this because I've been through the same system last year. Since 1976, going to sea, I was carrying some material for them to eat in Jamaica. But we got robbed then. I let that go. I refused to go back there. But now, we went now to go and get our visas. And here, our records are clean. I went to the embassy. You said something that makes sense, but nobody seems to listen to us. And I'm a person get ignorant for my rights. Law or no law, I am serious about my rights. So I tries to be quiet because they think that we're all crazy. You understand? It's a lot of problems going on in that embassy thing. And it's just like your problem starts at home. Well, it starts from here in this office. This woman had an attitude. When I reached the embassy, I was picked out of the line with 4 people ahead of me. Called my name and told me that I was declined from America from 2014, and I didn't leave my island in 2014. I went in 2013 for medical and had only spent 4 days, 8 days totally. So it all happens from here, Sandra. I went and I got the immigration to do a survey, and the immigration survey America embassies and immigration, and it came back, no, Mr. Whitaker been coming to America from 1972. And he had never stayed his full time. And I was offered citizenship from joining the Marines in 1972. So it bothered me. This woman had an attitude, and she had a connection in Jamaica with the man. He had his phone on his knee, and the computer is against the wall. I couldn't see the computer. And he's pointing here, say, well, it's here on his computer that I overstayed 6 months in America, 2014. I took it right through the immigration system, right through Mr. Howie, the inspector, the chief minister, and they all done a proper survey. My government does the best for us. It's no good as some people might think they are. In certain things that really matter, that benefits you, of interest, they really does their best. And I give them very much good credit. I called the premier office from Jamaica Embassy as I got out the door. And they right away, they put a search on it. See? And up to now, nobody will understand that the woman in this office needs to be removed before somebody goes to prison for her. You understand?
So let me just clarify. Which office are you talking about?
I don't know. The embassy here in Cayman Islands for you to get your visa.
That's a consulate. So that doesn't have anything to do with your So
it is where you gotta go to get your visa to go to Jamaica.
Oh.
The little old lady there is a very unique person and professional in her business. But the fat lady there that is under Andrew Holden.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Because the little lady, she's petite, it's Miss Aline. And I can tell you she's always she's not fat, and she's always very useful.
That is the
very
little fair-skinned looking woman, the little small woman.
She's very soft-spoken.
She is very professional in her business.
Okay.
No joke.
So you're saying that there's somebody else there?
That fat one on the other side, that has an attitude that shouldn't be presented in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I haven't heard.
And I'm telling you people to do so. I lose $2,800 in that trip, and I did not want to go because I have no use for Jamaica or Jamaicans in my country. You understand? And I see her by 68 now. I ain't got much time left around here. But I'm asking them to stay away from Mr. Edward Allen Whitaker. I am not going to play with them people. You understand? Because they do not think good of nobody else but themselves. And I prove it. From 1968, my mother hired one of them. And up to now, I found quite a few Jamaicans, but most of them from St. Elizabeth, St. Catharines, St. Thomas, very nice people. But these Calibans that come down here should not have got a chance to get in Cayman Islands. And the government is doing it to corrupt their dirty work. Yeah? I want them out of the house too. I want everyone them out of the house because crime is going to go on in this country because good Caymanian are fed up with this bullshit that is going on from the government.
Oh, watch your language. We're on the radio.
Bullshit.
No. Now you know I have to hang up the phone, folks. Hello. Y'all know I don't have no problems with your cursing after 10:30. But when we're on the radio, you cannot use profanity. And after I tell him he'll try and use it again, Mr. Whitaker, behave yourself. No, you know. Because I might have to come find you one piece of cow card and something to wash out that mouth. Only before 10:30. After 10:30, when we're no longer on the radio, the show sometimes goes into overtime. You can call and say anything you want. I don't care. Because I'm not trying to control nobody. Freedom of speech. But we have certain rules. Off reg sitting down there looking with a magnifying glass. I told y'all that already. We have certain rules. And I will cut you off and ban you from calling if you can do better. Because y'all not getting me in trouble. Caller. Morning, honey child.
Morning. What happened to riling your feathers?
Well, they're not riling my feathers, but I'm just saying. The rules.
Listen to me, Sandra. Is something going on with these people, even in the U.S. and things? Because, okay, we have a friend in the States, right? She have papers and things, but her mother don't. And her mother visits her frequent from Jamaica. And the other day, okay, you know, normally sometimes you go in, they give you 6 months. Well, they always give it to me, but I don't normally stay, nowhere near close. But apparently, she had stayed, I think about 5 days or something before the 6 months. And when she was going out back, they questioned her, why they don't give it to you if they don't want you to stay. But then she hadn't stayed it. She was like 5 days, more. And now every time she go in, because she right over there now. And I talked to somebody the day before yesterday, and I was asking them about her, if she hadn't come back. And they say, yeah, that she had come back a couple of weeks ago, but she was soon leaving because apparently every time she come in now, the questions her. And then listen to me, I don't know if this is true, but somebody told it to me the other day that they're planning on passing a law in the U.S. that for people over 60 that have the money, get visas and stuff, that they're not giving you no visa after you pass 60 plus, because they say that you don't need to travel at that age. You don't need to travel anymore. You need to stay. And like I said, I don't know if it's true, but I was told it. And I said, well, here you go.
That when you can afford to travel when you're 60 plus, because you're not got nothing else to do.
Well, this is what I say, but I tell you something fishy going on, and that's why I won't go to Jamaica about it, because I had the indefinite. I only had 2 American visas ever, but I had the indefinite. And remember when they say years ago something about the stamp was misplaced or stolen or something, and they had recalled those visas? I went back and they gave me a 10-year. And my 10-year was up in 2005, because I just had enough. I remember when my daughter was graduating from U.S., we just had enough time to go into her graduation and get out before the visa had expired. And I never ever did. Went back to getting on. I was thinking about it, but we've been traveling on waivers. And then after, they had tell me from here, as when people were saying about that once you turn 60, you got to send the passport from passport officer to Jamaica and get the American visa for you. And I called and asked, and they told me, no, it is 80 and up. And then they said to me too that if you ever go to Jamaica and apply for the visa and they refuse you, they wouldn't be able to give you the waiver here anymore. And I was told that by fact, that no hearsay. They told me that out of their own mouth. So then I get skeptical. Then afterward, now since hearing about this custom officer, children and all that, I say, no, so I'm not messing wrong there. I just keep the waiver, because I can go in on that, and for the little time that I go, I just go, maybe a month is the most. So I agree to stay with that, because it's something going on. And I heard first about that they were refusing a load of Filipino and thing, but now only Filipino they're refusing. And then yes, people used to go Bahamas from here, but then I understand they were questioning that after a while to ask them why they come Bahamas all the years. Used to go Jamaica, why not go Jamaica? So everything the world is a mess.
All right, my dear, thank you very much. We can agree that a lot of it is a hot mess, that's for sure. I mean, my thing is this: there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for why this young lady would have been denied. If there is an upward limit on using a waiver, then all of us should know that when you go and apply for the waiver, the office here in Cayman should say, hey, don't travel on a waiver more than once in 6 months, once in the year. Tell people that. Tell them that jeopardizes any future chances of getting any type of U.S. visa, because I think people are entitled to know. Good morning, caller. Hello? Hello? Hello, caller? We got another call. Hello. Hi, are you trying to call the show? Yeah. 936-2626. Okay, honey, chill. 936-2626. 362626. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Morning, Sam.
936-2626.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. 1 second, sir. Yes, ma'am. You got that number? Okay, dear. All right, good. Yes, sir. I was just on the other phone giving somebody a show number. Yes.
Okay, Sandy. You know what a placebo is?
A placebo?
When they are doing research, they said they give some people placebo and they give some people the real medicine.
Yeah.
I heard of a case a couple of years ago. This young lady, she holds dual citizenship both Caymanian and American.
Okay.
Her husband applied twice for his U.S. visa after being married for over 7 years, and they denied him.
Oh.
The third time when he went, they denied him again. And being an American citizen, she got real upset, and they took her in a room. She told me this. They took her in a room and she spoke to somebody higher up. And what she was told, that there are members in the lineup that is there for issuing visa that does not have any visa authority to issue any visa at all.
You mean that there's counter staff working who don't have authority to issue a visa, so they turn down everybody?
They don't have authority to issue any visa. So if you are unlucky enough to go in front of that person, it doesn't matter if your qualification is right up the top. They cannot give you a visa. And that she told me. And because she was a U.S. citizen, they were able, what they did, they just went ahead and just give him the visa because she went high up. Because she's a U.S. citizen and she have the privilege.
That sounds very strange, but okay. Well, wow. I mean, I don't know, but okay. Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate it. I don't know. Like, it don't make no sense to me, but hey, like I said, I don't work at the embassy office. I don't know. Morning, caller.
Morning, Miss Sandy.
Hi, dear.
I thank God and I pray for you every day because you're the only one that's given us Caymanians a little help, because what our MPs and leaders is doing has dragged us right into the swamp. I don't know. I'm looking for a riot in this place because of what is going on. Caymanians is not that stupid that they can't see this. We must unite together. But what I'm really calling about is this, the waiver. Do anybody know why we have the waiver? The waiver was created.
Yes, we did go over this a couple weeks ago, but yes.
Caymanian seamen.
Yes.
Because it was so many of them. And instead of going to Jamaica, please, sooner or later, we're not going to have that either. Because remember, say, our men not going out to sea no more. So if anybody think that we got the waiver because we are Caymanians, no. We got it because of our Caymanian seamen. Because they were leaving and, the ships needed them. There were times like 3,000 men was off of this island and the women ran. But that's the reason why we got the waiver. For no other reason.
Thank you so
all
much.
These Caymanians and foreigners that think, the way was because we're Cayman Islands. Get that out of your brains. It was our men who built this island and gave the greatest contribution. Even to that they gave to us. So you all have a good day. And
thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this whole waiver thing. And there are a number of countries around the world that do have it. But listen, I feel like there are things that are happening at the embassy that we don't know anything about. And we need some guidelines. It's like when I first moved back to the States, I was a U.S. resident at the time. And they told me, listen, once you get that green card and you become a U.S. resident, that's intended for you to remain in the United States. We're not giving you residency for you to be going other places. And I was like, oh, really? So they're like, yeah, if you're moving back to the Cayman Islands permanently, you need to give up your residency because that's not the intent of that. And for the first couple of years, they allowed me to get, what's it called? I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was like a special permission then for people who were U.S. residents. And you got it for, I think it was 2 or 3 years. And that allowed you to come back and go back and forth with your green card without any questions really being asked. Because otherwise, the U.S., what is now Homeland Security, but previously immigration, they used to put you through the ringer about why do you have a green card in residency if you're not living in the U.S.? You need to relinquish it and give it up. And all of these things, remember back in the day, you could get a green card and it had no expiration date. The U.S. changed all of that. It became a 10-year card. And in those 10 years, they expected you to do what you needed to do. You either became an American citizen. It's not a green card. It's not a situation where they're expecting you to stay on a green card for the rest of your life. It's like you become a resident and then you become a U.S. citizen because Uncle Sam wants his money from you. You're going to pay taxes no matter what. And so I thought, I have no interest in living in the U.S. I just gave mine up. I was like, forget that. I'm not business with that no more. Nat B says, caller spitting facts. Thank you so much. Panama has an American embassy. Lightning Ice Queen says, careful, you might get a riot. Johan says, this call doesn't make any sense. If you're a citizen, why do you need a visa? So in terms of this young lady with the student visa, she actually recently obtained her UK passport as well. So, I mean, it's very bizarre why they didn't approve the US visa. I'm not quite sure that I understand it. All right. What can we do though? Like I said, there's not much that we can do about that. I'm just letting you guys aware that there are things going on at the US embassy. When you go, you better have your ducks in a row and you better sort yourself out because they're denying us. That's what I'm telling y'all. And even the higher ups here in Cayman, like, woo, honey child, we don't know what's going on, but we have seen there's been a marked difference in the types of decisions that are coming out of the US embassy. Somebody said that they're just bad mind, basically. I'm trying to see if I can find that comment again. Let me see. Someone said, morning, Miss Sandy, with regard to all the issues with the visa problems lately, I wonder if it has anything to do with all the new Caymanians that are applying lately. Only God knows. Good morning. He's speaking about a young lady named Doreen. She's here in a contract working for the Jamaican government. I find her to be a nice person. Maybe you should reach out to him and explain to him. Well, I guess he don't like her. I mean, I don't know. Okay. This person in Jamaican office here. Good Lord, take the wheel and the bus. What a hot mess. But I'm sure Miss Aline, who actually runs that office, will certainly listen to your concerns. This other person says Miss Aline Harris is the best. The other lady there in the front is really rude. I mean, I haven't really had any experiences that I can speak of. I mean, but also for the most part, I deal with Miss Aline. So I don't know, honey chill. That sounds like a hot mess. Let me just see some of your other comments. Someone says, doesn't the situation with the director need a poll to suggest what should happen to his position? I'm personally distraught to hear this director is our own Caymanian. That much confidence has been placed. What a hot mess. Let me see now. Someone else sent in a comment. I can't even find that one now, but I did see something pop up saying that some of the people there at the Jamaica consulate might just be bad mind. Let me check the other messages over here. Where did that message come in? Anywho, let's move on. Just to talk about something else here. U.S. Embassy in Jamaica refused Jamaicans U.S. visa as well. Yeah, I mean, all the time. Somebody else says, yes, the other lady is really rude for me. Wow. I guess maybe you didn't need a little something. Imagine my mom marrying a Jamaican man 5 years older than me without introducing himself to the family last minute, and she had a mental disorder. Bedridden for a year, almost after, and now dead, and they never lived together. And did he get status off of that marriage? I mean, here's the thing about this, folks. If you know that you have family members that are compromised, they are, they have an illness, mental health, whatever. I guess up to a certain point, it depends. You can try to protect your family members, but sometimes there's no protecting people. They have people who come in because somebody's nice to them because they got their eyes on the prize and they know, let's be honest, this situation that we kicked off today, he knew that this woman, her death was imminent, unfortunately. It was only a question of probably when. And then 9 days after you marry her, the poor woman who has been sick for many, many years, all of a sudden is dead. Some of y'all was like, please open up a police investigation into the cause of death. But she was very, very sick. And that's why the whole thing, it's like, you can just marry somebody sickly like that with no, I don't think so. Why you didn't marry 2 years before? I don't know, honey child. Someone said in marriage, there are 3 kinds of rings: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering ring. Sandy, regarding wills, from what I've witnessed more so lately, it's best to add the children to the property where possible. Even wills are being challenged. Yep. Another person says, I know a Jamaica girl right now that immigration needs to look into. Her name is so-and-so. She's married to Caymanian and they're not even living together. She claimed the man just a help to her. Sad mess. Right now, her son is in prison and she's trying to get a Caymanian girl to marry him so that he don't leave. You see what I'm telling y'all? Some people don't mean you're no good. Now, to be very, very clear, not everybody's the same. I'm not trying to paint Jamaicans with all the same brush. Some of them come here, they work, they don't have no problems leaving, going back home. They see it as a privilege to be able to live in the Cayman Islands, blah, 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 blah. And they're not looking to abuse anybody, but there's far too many that are doing it. And that's a problem. All right, let's talk about Vine and Top. We got a couple minutes here to talk about this situation. This is quite an unfortunate situation. I mean, I know this young lady is a Caymanian business owner and she's trying a thing. When you get into signing leases and stuff like that with people, commercial leases, even residential leases, ultimately they have a right of, they can give you notice. You look at your contract, they can give you notice and, they give you notice, you better start to step in. Normally the contract will speak to how much notice each party has to give. Not quite sure that I understand really what's going on here, but I'm going to tell you all how the story goes. So apparently they've been issued an eviction notice by the landlord, which is Cayman Technology Center, after various nuisance complaints. Now, what I've heard through the grapevine is essentially the other people in the building, Digicel and others who write in that section, don't want to be there anymore because they're saying that, listen, the local bar, and was it called something else before? There was another bar, it was called something else before she took it over, right? I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, or did they not change names? I don't know. But anyway, they're saying that, listen, it's become too much now of a situation. There's too much ruckus. It's attracting the wrong kind of crowds. They're seeing it as a nuisance. Well, as it turns out, they have given her notice, and the court documents, again, anybody can go read them. And she has basically said that she's not leaving. So they tried to, and normally you don't go through the courts. They just send you your notice by email, by letter, whatever. So they say that Cayman Technology Center was constructed in 2017. Over $11 million was built in developing Cayman Technology Center to provide the development with a mix of office and retail space. They go on to say that it was intended to be a smart, clean, friendly, upscale, and safe business and retail park. Wonk, wonk, wonk. Providing a pleasant environment in which to conduct business or spend some quality leisure time not far from central Georgetown. They talk about who their tenants are. So they have Security Center, Digicel, Pico Restaurant, Water and Elephant, Spa Number 11, Equal Spa, Evolution Gym, Savory Trust Company, and Personnel 2000. Oh, that's where Personnel 2000 is? I didn't even know that. So the defendant carry on business as a licensed bar known as Vine and Tap. By way of a lease dated July 2020, the plaintiff and the defendant entered into a lease whereby the plaintiff leased the defendant Unit A1 and A2 at Cayman Technology Center for a rent of $80,000 per annum. The plaintiff relies on the contents of the lease for its full terms and effects. $80,000 per annum. Let me see here now. That's not too bad for 2 units, you know. That's what, a month? 6,660 for 2 units. I mean, locations, everything. So, you pay for that. So they lay out different things in the terms of the lease, not to permit or suffer to be done on or within the premises anything in the landlord's opinion. This is very broad, but this is how it works. Acting reasonably may be or become a source of nuisance or annoyance or danger to or in any way interfere with the quiet use of the other portions of the property or any adjoining or neighboring premise. They talk about at the tenant's expense, the premise and the allotted parking spaces and the joint name, blah, 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 liability insurance of $1 million. Okay, in 2023, pay attention to what happened. The defendant underwent a change of shareholder ownership, and the current shareholder took over ownership and control of the defendant. So what that means is Vine and Tap got new owners in 2023. This is important because this is what they're going to say now is where the issue started. Since the change of ownership, the defendant has attracted a very different clientele to the premise and the vicinity. Notice me sipping my water. Okay. In breach of covenant, which breach is irremediable, so in other words, you can't fix it, the defendant, its guests, patrons, and licensees have, in the opinion of the plaintiff, acting reasonably, become a source of nuisance, annoyance, and danger, interfering with the quiet use of the premise and quiet use of the adjoining and neighboring premises. In particular, now they're going to particularize what they mean by that. In particular, they say the defendant hosts events, in particular on Friday evenings and Sunday afternoons, which events attract to the premise a very large crowd of patrons who are present at the invitation or under the license of the defendant, who cause a nuisance, annoyance, and or danger, which interferes with the quiet use of the premise and the quiet use of the adjoining and neighboring premises. And this includes, so I'm aware of the time, radio listeners, if you want to continue listening, join us on social media, YouTube, Facebook, and in fact, Instagram. Instagram, your feed is going to drop out at about 10:30 because Instagram has put this new thing in place now where it's an hour, so we have to keep reconnecting it. Annoying the heck out of me, but we'll reconnect you. Here's the examples now of what they say is the problem. Fighting and physical violence, resulting in the police being called out to the premise, loitering while intoxicated, drinking alcohol outside of the premise and or in the vicinity of the premise and neighboring properties, consuming drugs outside the premise and or in the vicinity, vomiting and urinating outside the premise, Lord Jesus, approaching and making unwanted approaches and comments to female customers and staff, attending other properties, discarding empty and half-consumed glasses and bottles of alcohol outside and around the premise, playing excessively loud music from the premise, parking up outside or in the vicinity of the premise, excessive loud music over car sound systems, foul and loudmouth behavior, lewd and gratuitous behavior outside the premise, discarding used condoms. What? Hold on, Let's make sure we're no longer in radio, folks, because this just got real. The ish just got real. Radio, folks, y'all be good. We'll see y'all tomorrow, honey child. Everybody else, use condoms? What the what? Y'all going there having sex? And then taking your nastiness outside? What the hell? Anyway, discarding used condoms outside and around the premise. Discarding cigarette butts outside and around the premise. And on December 23rd, 2023, a shooting, it says at the time the defendant was closing, which resulted in damage to property and a person in the vicinity of the premise, and pole dancing, this I guess was the final straw, pole dancing within the premise. Oh my God. Oh Jesus, what a mess. Well, honey child, you better go find someplace else. Hold on, let me reconnect the Instagram, folks. Give me one quick second. Like I said, it does it every hour now. Oh, so annoying. One second. Let's bring the IG folks back online. So yeah, we used to be able to go up to 4 hours on Instagram, and now they've limited it to literally just an hour. So that's pretty annoying. All right, let me keep reading then from the rest of the lawsuit here. The writ, I should say. The plaintiff's other tenants have repeatedly complained. So again, I've heard in particular that Digicel has complained a lot, but I suspect it's probably not just Digicel. So they say, yes, the plaintiff's other tenants have repeatedly complained about the defendant, and the patrons, staff, and customers of neighboring premises feel unsafe owing to the clientele that the defendant has attracted and continues to attract to the premise and the vicinity. The defendant is a source of and responsible for the nuisance. So this is just saying, it's their business that's attracting it. They also go on to say that the neighboring premise and Cayman Technology Center are now suffering the stigma that comes with the nuisance, annoyance, and danger that the defendant is permitting, suffering to be done and attracting to the premise, with people commenting adversely on social media and being put off from coming and spending time in the business park. Really? Tenants have given the plaintiff notice that they're considering vacating. Wow. So this is it, folks. This is business 101. You have one tenant that is causing you an issue, and other tenants are being annoyed, and they say that they're going to leave. And once they leave, you're going to have an issue attracting people because of this situation over here. These people came on Technology Center saying, we're not about to lose no money or lose no tenants because of one. So they will sacrifice wine and tap and keep everybody else. So anyway, they say that yes, the tenants have said that they are considering giving notice. And so as a result, the plaintiff will suffer loss and damages, and it reserves the right to seek recovery from the defendant in future proceedings if necessary. Anyway, they go into the legalities of the lease, the registered land law, blah, 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 blah. Then this is where it gets pretty interesting. So they sent her a letter dated the 15th of January saying that they're terminating the lease and termination and forfeiture of the lease for breach of covenant at clause 2.7 because they requested a copy of the insurance policy, which the defendant is required to have. The plaintiff gave the defendant notice that the lease would terminate at 12 noon on February the 29th, and the plaintiff will rely on the contents of the letter for its full terms and effects. So don't miss what they've just said, because all these legal fancy words might have made you skip over that. What I'm hearing them say is in her lease, and this is not uncommon for commercial properties, the owner is supposed to have $1 million insurance policy. What they're saying is that hasn't been done. So she is, in addition to the nuisance that's being caused with all these other things, section 2.7 of the lease requires her to provide a copy of the insurance policy, and she can't provide that because she ain't got it. Problem. So they've given her notice. Okay. It says that the defendant failed to produce the insurance policy required and failed to vacate the premise on February the 29th. The defendant has refused to vacate and remains in unlawful occupation of the premise without the plaintiff's consent. So they tried doing it through the contract. She not paying them no mind. So now they go to the court and they will 99.999% get an eviction notice from the court and she'll be forced out. Instead of acting, this is what they say at point 15 now, instead of acting responsibly in response to the plaintiff's termination and forfeiture of the lease, the defendant has sought to hold the plaintiff to ransom and assert that the defendant, will not vacate unless and until the plaintiff gives the defendant $1,200,000. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Yeah, now. Nobody not charging her with bribery, but they got me in court for bribery. What the fuck going on around here? I'm just saying. This is bribery. If y'all want me coming after Sandy for foolishness, everybody should be charged for the same thing because I wasn't going around telling nobody they had to pay me no money. This would be the very definition of bribery. Let me send this to my lawyer. Saying, hold on, lawyer. You see how different strokes for different folks. They want to accuse me on the instructions of the judge, trying to settle a matter. But look at this. You must give me $2,200,000 or I'm not going nowhere. That's bribery. I'm just saying. RCIPS, are y'all gonna be charging anybody else other than me? Okay, let's move on. Woo! It says in doing so, the defendant has made it clear that it intends to carry on breaching the covenants of the lease, lowering the value and prestige of the premise and the vicinity unless and until the plaintiff gives in to wholly unwarranted and extortionate demands. Extortion. Popo, where y'all at? Cha. I can write that. I can write the DPP's office and say, will y'all be pursuing any bribery and extortionate charges? Yeah, I'm serious. These people are ridiculous. All right. So anyway, they want them to get out. That's pretty wild, though. It is pretty wild that somebody gives you a notice to get the hell out of their property, their premise, which by law they have a right to do. And your response, we're not on radio no more, Erica. We done click off that link, honey child. You got to pay attention. Now it's after 10:30. It is 10:39. We clicked it off. So don't y'all worry. And somebody said, Dawn thinks that she owns Cayman. Well, if she had $1 million, she'd own a little bit more of it than she does now. That's for sure. Anywho, I think she's being ridiculous. I feel sorry for her. You know, sometimes you try a thing, you take over a business. I don't know what she paid for it or what she's invested in it and whatever the case may be. You know, yeah, I mean, sorry, not all businesses will work out and sometimes you take a loss, but you can't tell the landlord they have to pay you to get out. However, I want to educate y'all on a little something, because I see y'all here for it. All 600 plus of you here, still here. You're like, Sandy, we holding on for overtime this morning. Listen, this is actually a tactic that people use in the United States of America. Here, you know, people have leases, mostly residential leases, not so much commercial leases. And when the landlord says to them, you know, I'm selling the property, you got to go, especially in high market areas like California, certain areas of Texas, whatever, the tenant doesn't want to leave because it's actually hard for them to find somewhere else to go. It just like Cayman, a lot of these markets are tight. New York, they might be locked into a good lease. They don't want to give it up. So you know what they do? They make demands. I was just watching this the other day. This is so interesting. They make demands on the owner of the property to say, oh, if you want me to leave, basically you have to buy out my lease. And they're like, what? They're holding people hostage because they have a misconceived idea in their heads that, oh, you're getting rid of me and you're selling this property making millions of dollars, so you're going to have to pay me as a tenant. Y'all can imagine the audacity. Thank God they're not coming. That foolishness in Cayman yet. Watch for it, because y'all love to follow every bad habit that everybody else has. Imagine you're renting to somebody and you say, okay, I'm going to sell my place. The actual tenant can tell you they're not moving, they're not vacating until you pay them money. I know one thing. You know, in America, some of them can be like, I pay somebody to break your knees, someone paying you money. Anyhow, watch this little clip it, because this is very, very interesting. Let me see here now. Where did this go? Hold on. Let me see where this video just went. Give me 1 second here. I want y'all to watch this video. Yeah, it's very, very interesting that this is happening. Which folder did this go into? March. Oh yeah, hold on. Because like I said, I keep ahead of trends, because I believe that y'all be paying attention to most ridiculous stuff, and y'all gonna soon want to try it over here. And not gonna be long, but somebody gonna lose their goddamn mind. So look at this. Watch this.
Cash for keys. It's when landlords offer tenants money to leave. The sky is not supposed to be the limit, but we found out it may as well be.
The horror stories we're hearing right now is that the tenants want an arm and a leg.
Tenants are demanding lots of money to go.
Tenants are just, again, using this newfound power they have to just get a few crumbs from landlords.
Landlords are crying foul.
It's causing complete chaos. It's like the Wild West.
Cash for keys. It's a growing battle in Canada's housing crisis. And for smaller landlords especially, the cost is, well, going through the roof.
What is it that's getting to you?
The stress, the unknown.
On a teacher's salary, Norma De Silva scrimped and saved to invest in 2 properties. She lives in one and rents out the other.
It was my very little nest egg. I wanted to retire this year, and I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, the unknown, the uncertainty, it's crushing.
De Silva sold her rental property in August because with rising mortgage rates, she says she couldn't afford to finance it anymore. But her buyer can't move in because her tenant won't move out unless De Silva makes it worth his while.
What went through your mind when your tenants said, we're not leaving?
It was just unfathomable. Like, this is my property that I've worked so hard for, and it's like my property was held hostage.
De Silva's investment property is a condo in this West End neighborhood in Toronto. It's a gentrified area and rents aren't cheap. De Silva says her tenant, who moved in about a year and a half ago, doesn't want to move and feels entitled to ask for a lot of money to leave because he's assuming she's going to make a profit on the sale of her condo and can afford to pay up. Sounds outrageous, maybe even illegal? We were surprised to discover how many stories like that are out there. We have some tenants who ask for $100,000, some tenants who are asking for the landlord to buy a plot of land for them. We have other tenants who are asking for the landlord to purchase a property for them.
It sounds ludicrous to ask a landlord for that amount of money.
It is.
Bita Dulisi is a paralegal who is helping De Silva and many other small landlords get their cases heard at Ontario's Landlord and Tenant Board. Business is booming, and most of her new cases are cash for keys.
So what's in here?
So this cabinet alone is our hearing cabinet for 2024. This is January.
2024 for next year. These are the ones you're waiting.
This is all for next year.
Wow. So this has been a big increase.
Huge increase. Going back to 2020, where we almost had about 400 cash for keys cases, to this year alone, where we have almost 1,000 cases.
What's behind the increase?
The ripple effects of the interest rates. Oftentimes, landlords who purchase properties purchase them at the time with variable rates. And now that the rates have increased and the rents don't carry those expenses,
landlords have no choice but to list and sell. Well, if you have a tenant who knows their rights and who knows that they don't have to leave because they have the right to remain in the unit until a hearing is held.
And that's the issue. Getting a hearing for an eviction order at the Landlord and Tenant Board can take months because of a backlog of tens of thousands of cases. Landlords complain a growing number of tenants are trying to cash in on those delays, and that's backing more landlords into corners.
We deal with a lot of small landlords, a lot of landlords that come to us in tears, a lot of small landlords that come to us with their keys and say, you know, Beta, here are my keys, I can't do it anymore. There's huge, significant financial losses for some landlords, especially the smaller landlord.
Delisi and her team meet every week to update each other on their cases. They say tenants are not only demanding more, sometimes they're refusing to pay rent until they get what they want. Police, they say, can't do anything about it. Only the board can resolve disputes between landlords and tenants.
Like, I have landlords crying that I'm broke, the tenant owe me 60-something in rent, and I have to pay 2 mortgages, interest rates, renewal of the mortgages, and don't have a hearing date yet. It's up to 9 months right now.
What are some of the words that the landlords are using?
Extortion.
Extortion is the main one.
Why should I pay them this money?
They ask us all the time, is this legal?
50 LTB.
The short answer, despite landlords' growing frustration, it is legal to negotiate a cash for keys deal. And while landlords call it fraud, the long delays at the board are giving tenants the upper hand. Tenant advocates say it's about time.
Any landlord complaining to me about the landlord and tenant board can go pound sand.
Jordy Dent is the executive director of the Federation of Metro Tenants Association.
There is absolutely more tenants that are using kind of this kind of landlord and tenant board delay because it's put a lot of landlords in a box. But again, that's not a bad thing from our perspective.
Dent says more people than ever struggle to pay skyrocketing rents and are fed up. Call it renter's revenge. On online forums, tenants encourage each other to get as much as they can from their landlords before handing over their keys.
Some people are asking for 6 figures. Others are asking for a plot of land or a down payment on a house.
Absolutely, that's wonderful.
Why do you think that's wonderful?
Because they have the right to do that. Look, a lot of these people, myself included, are paying tens of thousands of dollars for a place to live and a place to rent. When you pay that money, it doesn't just go into the ether. You get rights for that. Now, landlords have been using their rights to get a good deal for decades. Through the entire rental crisis that we're going through, landlords have been, opening the caviar and popping the champagne.
Dent says eviction fraud is the #1 complaint his group deals with. Tenants, he says, are often pushed out so landlords can jack up the rent or sell and make a profit. He has no sympathy for any landlord, big or small.
What do you say to the landlords who basically saved up their money to buy a property and whom now might lose that property? We're not talking to millionaires. What do you say to the mom and pop landlords who are suffering as a result of this?
I tell them to learn about investment risk. Okay. Again, I don't really focus on the individual mom and pop landlords. I look at the overall market. Okay. And if you look at the overall market today, landlords have never had it better. It is a golden age of profit, increased equities in their home, tax cuts and tax credits. They are living large right now. If you take a look at the tenant population, tenants are getting absolutely hammered. They're paying exorbitant rents. They're getting evicted left, right, and center. They can't enforce their rights. Again, that's the population that I mostly care about.
So your message to landlords then is suck it up. That's the risk that comes with an investment?
My message to landlords is welcome to what tenants have been living with for the last 2 decades. So yes, when a landlord has to struggle, who's in who's in far better condition than almost any tenant I know, yeah, I'm going to tell them to suck it up.
There's no official count of how many tenants are trying to leverage cash for keys deals or the damage it can cause, but choosing not to pay can be even riskier.
It's a three bedroom-ish, but I think...
Pema Zella is finally in her home, but she says she's lost tens of thousands of dollars even though she refused to pay her tenant to go.
I wasn't willing to pay even a penny for a person who is trying to scam, take advantage of the system, take advantage of people like us.
Zella and her family had rented out their home for a year, but when it was time for her daughter to start school nearby, she gave her tenant notice. He refused to leave and stop paying rent. While she waited months for a hearing, her tenant offered her a deal.
He said that, we can negotiate. I'm like, what do you mean we can negotiate? You already owe me more than $20,000. What do you mean? And he's like, pay me $50,000, I will get out next month.
Mm-hmm.
I had pain in my stomach. I was like, what? $50,000 and you will get out? How dare you even say that?
Because of those board delays, it took a year and a half for Zella to finally get an eviction order. But get this, when she came to deliver it, her tenant was not here, but a bunch of strangers were.
How many people were here when you came, with the eviction order?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 people?
Yeah.
And no sign of your actual tenant?
No.
But these people had paid him rent?
Yes. Yeah. So those are the damage.
Besides the damages, by the time they finally got into their own house, Zella's tenant owed $40,000 in unpaid rent. And on top of that, she says, he made money off her property while she was going broke.
You didn't expect this to happen?
In Canada. And there's no accountability to the landlord, to the tenant like him, right? But we are suffering. Hardworking, honest citizen trying to survive in Canada. We're suffering for no apparent reason.
The inability of the landlord and tenant board to tackle this and to get on schedule is causing this subculture of lawlessness.
De Silva's financial strain is only getting worse. She says she's spent tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees and paying her buyer's Airbnb costs until the sale closes in March. She's been hoping to get a hearing at the board to get her tenant out by then, or risks losing the sale.
I mean, I know the rights that tenants have, but when I think of how hard I've worked to create a responsible existence, and to have that pulled out from under me is hard to swallow. And someone else controlling that,
So, Joanna, there's so much more to this story, but can we talk about Norma De Silva for a moment? What's the latest with her?
Well, she finally got a hearing scheduled at the end of this month after 5 months of waiting. Now, if her case gets resolved in that single day, it still means that she might have to wait up until a month to get an eviction order and longer to get a sheriff to enforce it if her tenant doesn't leave willingly. So that's what she was looking at and decided she might be running out of time before her buyer bails. So she decided to settle with her tenant for an undisclosed amount. She said that's the terms of the agreement, that that number is confidential. So that's where she's at.
Wow.
So as we talk about the landlord-tenant board.
Yeah, I mean, folks, this is shocking. And like I said, it probably won't be long before people here in Canada be trying to disillusion us. I think they need to revisit the legislation in Canada because tenants seem to have a lot of power, a lot of rights. And you can't just, I saw somebody said, just turn off the lights and water. You're by law not permitted to do that. So it's crazy to see the entitlement of tenants because they assume that just because someone has a property and they're a landlord, that they're rolling in the dough and they're making all kind of money. The truth of the matter is a lot of those people, yes, they were able to get a mortgage, but you don't own it outright even. You still have it mortgaged. So even if you sell it, best case scenario when you sell it is you're trying to come out of your mortgage with a little bit in the bank. And this blows my mind that this is happening. And the attitude you hear of that guy, like, oh, I don't even care. This is the risk of them getting into property. It's like, what the hell? It is. Yeah. El Rey says that's some serious fuckery. I agree. It is unbelievable. Shocking. that people have this attitude. You've worked, you've made better decisions, right? You've acquired a little something, and then you're going to be penalized because you have a tenant, and your tenant is like, well, I'm not leaving just because you have a buyer. Now you're going to be making money out of the property. They may not even be making money. Look at the one lady. She goes in there, finds out that her tenant is not even there anymore. They've sublet it out to somebody else. Probably they're now making money off of that. And those people are destroying her property. Boy, this is when your head would really take you, to be honest. Everton says here in the United States of America, you cannot remove someone from the property during the winter. It's really hard to remove someone, even in COVID times. They locked people in where there was no evictions allowed for quite a bit of time during COVID. It's like trying to find that balance between, yes, we want to be fair to people, right? Landlords want to be fair, tenants should be fair, but it always seems like there's somebody that has the upper hand that really makes a situation just shocking and unbelievable. So Natasha says, New York too is experiencing the same with squatters. Oh God, not just New York, all over the place. You have people squatting in properties, going into properties in the US, and the rightful owner cannot get rid of them. They have to go to court and backlog and backed up. And so I showed you that video. She says, yes, people go on vacation and then somebody moves in. You've got to make sure there's a whole list of people who give you advice on how to secure your property. They even jiggy out the locks. So they tell you what types of locks to get so that they can't do that and get access to your. Ooh, honey child, it's a whole situation. And once they're in there, it is hard to get them out. It is so unbelievable, the injustice that's happening to a lot of property owners, not just landlords, but like you said, even people that live in the house, just go on vacation, they come back and somebody else has taken over their house. So the fact that Vine and Tap has refused to come out, and in the contract, the landlord can give you notice, just like you can give the landlord notice. It's similar to an employment contract. So I get this question all the time. People say, well, this person wants to leave me that works for them. I'm like, well, you can't force them to stay. This isn't slavery here. You know what I'm saying? They have a right to terminate the contract. Normally it's with notice, right? So the contract might say that each party has to give a month's notice, 2 months notice, 3 months, whatever it is, you put it in the contract. You can't force somebody to work for you. And on the other hand, they can't refuse to leave. If you fire somebody, they got to get up and out of there. You just give them adequate notice. And by law, you have to pay them, depending on how you do it, you might have to pay them a certain amount of pay and stuff, severance and so forth as well. So another type of contract, landlord and tenant. The landlords have the right to ask Vine and Tap to leave. In fact, I'm pretty sure that in their lease agreement, they don't even have to give her a reason why, but they have gone through quite painstakingly and listed a number of reasons why, including the fact that all this shush is going on around you, right? You're attracting all the wrong kind of people, and you don't even have liability insurance. You know how dangerous that is? Because anything happens in her property, she don't have liability insurance. You know who's going to get sued? The real owners of the property, her landlord. So what do they call themselves? Cayman Technology Center. They're the ones who are going to get slapped with the lawsuit. Her $1 million coverage should cover her place and her tenants. Somebody slip and fall, get shot up in there, whatever. The fact that she refuses to have it then puts the liability on Cayman Technology Center. And they don't want that, I can tell you. Again, especially since they have said, look at the caliber of what she's attracting. It's a problem. Really, really quite shocking. Rough Seas says, we got them here in Cayman too. We got them here in Cayman. So now, Rough Seas, to be very clear, they gave her notice in February, and they are now having to go to court. And, this is grand court. So I can tell you an eviction notice. I don't know if an eviction hearing gets any different priority than any other listing, but this could be months. So now they have to, well, they're asking for her, they're going to get declaration of sought to get her out and order that the defendant vacate the premise, damages, interest, and potentially other costs and relief. So, I mean, I don't know what she's thinking, but I would suggest to this young lady that you honor the terms of your agreement, the terms of your contract. El Rey says, I would burn them ras down. It's really sad because when you sign up for a contract, you have to understand what you're signing up for. Right? Really, really unfortunate situation. I don't know what to say. Rough C says, you're a different case, Sandy. They're not going to look at your case the same as they would look at anybody else's, which is unfortunate. They got government officials, police, bankers, lawyers, civil servers, and regular citizens that want to see you crash and burn. What a hot mess, honey child. What a hot mess. But the law is supposed to apply equally to everyone. That's the crazy part. There being some stories that you put out in the public, the person you be spilling the hot tea on, they'd be praying for you to slip in a tub. I tell you. Anyway, honey child, Dawn, take some advice from me. I'm not a lawyer, but just take some advice from me. Listen to Auntie Sandy. Just come out to people then, please. Go find somewhere else. Because now you're giving yourself a bad name. Everybody's like, which Dawn we talking about? Not that Dawn. Nobody not gonna want rent from you after today. After they see this story of how you're demanding from people that they must pay you over $1 million, $1.2 million for what? Pay you that for what? I'm like, serious, girl, what the hell wrong with you? Now you're making these people sue you and all kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. Sometimes, you're better off just cutting your losses and walking away and not proving that you're actually a total idiot in a situation. I don't know what else to say. Instagram, folks. Thank you, everybody. K-Man with a plan says, ain't nothing that a mask and a baseball bat can't fix. And I mean, you see how humble and meek that poor Asian woman, she's like, you can see, she's like, I came to America or Canada. This was the Canadian dream. This is extortion. This is what happens back in China and Russia and these crazy places. You don't expect this in modern places like America and Canada and Cayman, right? You expect the rules to apply. But even here, getting at a rogue tenant, I understand, is next to ridiculous. Now, the interesting thing, Siobhan asked a very, very interesting question. And someone who's now in that space of short-term rentals, I'm going to answer this for you because she says, is renting a place on Airbnb better than the other? Well, there are pros and cons to everything. One of the pros of the vacation rentals, which is a very, strong market here in Cayman for the most part. One of the cons of that is that people are booking your space, your place for specific dates. The vast majority of those people are actually overseas. So you're not likely to get someone who's going to come in and be able to squat from New York, because of other restrictions that we have in place, immigration and so on, will deal with them. So that risk is different. But what I can tell you is, remember the situation I had where the person came and damaged my property? And then they were like, I told them right away when I showed up and this bitch is dropping her suitcase down the staircase and it almost hit me and landed at my foot. I literally looked at her, excuse my language this morning. I said, what the fuck are you doing? I'm looking up the stairs at her and I said, excuse me, what the fuck are you doing? I said, get out right now. Oh, you want me to get out of your place? I said, did I stutter? Let me put on my best American accent so that you New York folks can understand me. I said, get the fuck out right now. I wasn't playing with these people, You're not gonna come and destroy something that I'm working hard for. Oh no, TD, I'll knock you the fuck out. That I'll be going to jail for. You can bet on that. I said, get out. Oh, okay. And then they tried talking to me. Oh, miss, can I have? I'm like, listen, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Y'all black people ain't got no goddamn sense. This is why you can't go nowhere. This is why in your own country, the police is shooting your ass. Because y'all act like the bunch of hooligans that you are. I said, do not talk to me. If you know what's good for you right in front of the police. I said, if you know what's good for you right now, you're not going to have nothing to say to me. Keep your mouth shut. Oh, but you know my mother from Jamaica. I said, I don't give a shit. Where your mama from? I said, clearly she not teach you no respect for people. How can you come to somebody else's country and act the fool like this? I'm like, don't talk to me. And police sitting there hoeing and humming like they don't know what the hell they're supposed to do. Y'all better do your fucking job too. Anyway, they knew they had to go that night. I'm like, I'm not moving from here until y'all get the hell out. And you see, this is where you deploy certain things. I got smart locks. One touch of a button. I change the code and I lock you behind out and you're not getting back in under no circumstance. Well, you can try and break in and then we can have another matter to deal with. But the other people who were there didn't want to leave because they were like, well, we're not the issue. Yes, they traveled with us. And I said, listen, at this point in time, I don't care. Nobody not staying here tonight. All y'all got to go. You can imagine this was the first night that they arrived in Cayman. And they got to be putting holes in walls and fighting with each other and acting like a fool. I said, listen, we're not doing this. Yeah, all of y'all have to go. Take out with your friends who put you in this position. All of a sudden now they call American Express. You know, everybody got to have that one gay friend that he going to be acting the most extra that you take on vacation. Well, don't worry about it. I'm going to call American Express. Hold on, honey, chill. Hello, American Express? So American Express now, these are the privileges I guess you get with being American Express card. I don't know. I don't have American Express card. We'll help you find a place, sir. Just give us a second. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Oh, yes, we have a space. Here you know. $1,200 for the night. Oh, yeah, y'all were getting a real good deal, huh? $1,200 for the night at the Kimpton. Oh, yeah, honey child. 2-person maximum. So the rest of the people, not the 2 idiots, because one was going to jail eventually, and then the girlfriend, she went and slapped someone in the bush. The other 4 people are going to now spend $24,000 plus for one night at the Kimpton. And they have a 2-room maximum, so the 4 of them can't even bundle up together. They got a real reality check then. And I said, yeah, if y'all could only behave yourself when you go to somebody else's country. This not friggin' New York. You don't come here with your ignorance and your nasty, dirty ways. I said, get out. Oh, no. They kept going on. Here I'm now. Oh, but, you know, we're not from here. We don't know where to go. That's not my business. I'm sorry. Go talk to your friends who are putting holes and destroying people's place about what they need to do. That's not my business. I no longer care. Oh, but then they get faced with JC. Now they're going to try and, but we know the law. Oh, we're going to call Airbnb. I said, I done got them in hole, honey child. They can't make me keep you if I'm telling you got to go. This is a security risk. Okay. One of y'all, there's broken glass in here. Y'all broke out my shit. No. Airbnb, tell your people then they got to go. And I'm not leaving until they go. Then they look at the police. I'm like, oh, can't you talk to the police? I said, listen, if this woman say you got to go, if I were you, I would leave. I said, trust me, this is not your country. It is not your country. You came here and you disrespected the citizens of this country. This whole conversation is coming full circle. Because even when people using us as Caymanians to be able to stay in this country, it is a matter of disrespect. That is what they do. Right? You know, I see the one the other day threatening that fool Caymanian about if she don't give him status, what he gonna do to her and how he can get on a boat and come from Jamaica and kill her. You not coming to my country. Do that shit in your own country. And I don't care if you're from the United States of America like these fools or you're from Jamaica like that next one. Keep that lawlessness in your country. When you come to Cayman, there are rules to abide by here. And as a Caymanian, we have to enforce the rules. Now, that means that we also have to live by the rules. Because once they see us doing it, you know, their attitude, well, y'all don't care about no rules. Y'all no business with this, that, and the next thing. Don't make nobody step to you a particular way in your own country. As them old people say, you put your foot down on their proverbial neck and you tell them, not today, Bobo. That not gonna work. Respect people. It seems so simple, but yet it seems very difficult for some people to be able to do it. All right, folks. Good morning, caller. You trying to get on the show or are you just calling me? I'm wrapping up now, honey child. Yes, I'm still live. I'll call you back. All righty. Trust and believe me, folks, when I tell you that at the end of the day, we have something here that's worth fighting for, right? I don't care how much y'all complain. You do not know how good you have it until you no longer have it. We have something in this country that is worth fighting for. That is why we have how many nationalities? Yeah. There's a reason why everybody wants to come here. Don't kid yourself, right? So protect it. Do your best to protect what we have. Don't make nobody disrespect your country. Don't let them come here and use your country and give nothing back. You want to be part of us? You want to become a Caymanian with all the benefits that come with that? Then you better come good. You better be not just not a troublemaker, but you better find a way to contribute. There's a lot of volunteerism opportunities in this country. Step up to the plate and do your part. Not just till you get status and then you disappear. All of a sudden, the volunteer people them can't find you. Big brothers, big sisters can't find you. Nobody can't find you. Continue. Because any community and any society that you live in, if you're a good citizen, you make a contribution in different ways. Some of y'all are animal lovers. Oh, this is at my door. Some of y'all are animal lovers. Some of y'all this, that, next thing. Not no problem with that. Go out there and contribute. There's somebody at your front door, honey child. Let me see who that is. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, can we help?
Yeah, we're just thinking about sharing something positive from the Bible this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually here at work. So we're not available at the moment. Yes.
Okay, then.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, dear. Jehovah Witness, honey child. You gotta at least respect their hustle. They be out there sharing something every day. Not today, Bobo. I'm still working. Some of us got work for a living. The good Lord told me, thou shalt work, Sandy, because that's the only way thou shalt be able to pay thou bills. What a mess. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm getting AC servicing today, so I thought that might have been them, but y'all, a Jehovah Witness sharing something from the Bible. So, let us try to elevate ourselves, our standards as a whole, as a people, as a country, and expect something from those that we welcome into our country. That's all I'm saying. All right. So tomorrow is what? Thursday? Another day in paradise, honey child. We'll continue the conversation. We got to talk about education. I might be ready tomorrow, but I do have to read over some documents and do some preparatory work so I can really put it to them good on that topic. Because boy, we are failing when it comes to education. It's such a sad situation. But let me see how it goes. I'll let you guys know if it's going to be tomorrow. At the very least, it might be early next week because I want time to go through materials. I need to talk to some people, and I would love to get some educators coming on the program and talking about what their experiences have been as well. Anywho, honey child, y'all stay blessed, not stressed. Do your part. Don't fall prey to any marriages of convenience between today and tomorrow. And we'll chat some more tomorrow. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth.
on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.